Welcome to the InTalksicated Podcast, a weekly comedy talk show that dives into the personal lives of comedians, experts, and creators. I'm your host, Sarah McClellan, a very amateur stand-up comedian and self-proclaimed sad girl. It's the comedy podcast with a lot of heart. Feel hard and talk hard. This is the InTalksicated Podcast.
No matter who you are, if you make a Tinder account and you just put photos on there, you're going to get someone that likes your photos. So someone's going to be down to do it.
Someone would be down.
It's just whether or not you want to be down with that person.
It is just standards.
Yeah. People, yeah.
And I tend to have mostly people that I'm not attracted to.
Yeah.
But every now and then someone will sneak in that I'm like, I'm attracted. Like, but it's like, if I had to put a percentage on it, like what? Like, Jesus, 20 to 30% of the time, maybe, like not very high percentage
Of people that are actually attractive.
that I go,
That you reciprocate the attraction.
yeah, like off a picture.
Yeah.
Mind you, I know that like attraction can grow.
Yeah, well, that's not true.
Nah.
Dicks grow attraction. That's just straight up, dude.
Thank you. I do think that personality really does play into attraction.
For sure. There's no
question about that.
I've met like a ton of beautiful women that I've just like immediately I see them talk to like wait staff. I'm like, whew, you're ugly on the inside. You are the most ugly on the inside.
Right?
Yeah. However you treat other people is like such a huge thing. But,
That's a huge thing.
I walked out on a date because the girl was mean to a server.
oh yeah, dude, man.
Yeah.
Men are like, people are like, oh, men like women with big boobs. Nah, dude, I like a girl who's like, thank you. I'm like, oh my god.
With a big heart.
Yeah.
Like a big heart.
Yeah. Someone who's like, oh my god, the waitstaff here is so nice. I'm like, oh my god, you're so nice.
I'm trying to because I have a whole bit about demisexuality. I don't know if you would have been around when I started doing this.
Yeah, because then Joe started doing his semi-sexual bit.
And now-
he goes,
I know Mikhail
so
is doing
fucking
one
good.
too.
I hope everyone does one.
That's like really, really good. Essentially just being like,
Question?
yeah.
Super dumb question though.
Go
Yes. What is it?
Is it demisexual?
Oh, ask it. Oh, I think ask it in the other mic.
No, I don't want people to realize I'm this dumb.
Oh, that's the working mic.
This is the working mic?
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. That's
Okay.
the working mic.
That's channel 3. The other one is 4.
Channel 3 News. We're here live with Bryan Otter. Bryan, what questions do you have for us tonight?
I don't want to ask it anymore.
Do you know?
What is a demisexual?
It's so it's the technical term is that you need
The tentacle term.
that you need an emotional connection to feel sexual attraction. But
What?
some women take that to go that like some women say it as like, oh, I like personality in a guy, so I must be demisexual. But it's like so much deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like you need to be close with someone to be sexually attracted to them is like essentially what demisexuality
Like in
is.
proximity?
Yeah, like no, emotionally.
Okay.
Like I can't get wet unless I know a guy's attachment style.
Okay.
That's like a weird. You should put that right in your profile.
I'll just get like a bunch of first messages being like avoidant.
What's wrong with me? I don't know. I can't get wet
Why am I
unless
sending
I
you
know.
so many messages?
Yeah. I can't get wet unless I know a guy's attachment style.
like I need to really know someone. Because Ron William was like, why don't you just have a one night stand? I was like, I literally can't. Like, even if I really wanted to, I don't think I could.
I don't know.
Like
I can't help you there.
yeah, no, not many people can. It's all good. I'm doomed.
You're not doomed. You just life has a funny way of making things happen.
Or not, in my case.
Yeah, but also it's the same thing.
Yes, that's true. The not happening is the happening.
Yeah, anytime. It's opposites and whatever. I don't know.
All right, let's get into it, everyone.
Let's get into it, folks.
That was enough of a cold open for me.
Oh, that's a freezing cold open, dude. She's a minus fucking 10 with the wind chill open.
Am I even using that term right? Cold open?
Cold open? Yeah, cold. I think so. You just go straight into
We
it.
go straight into it.
Cold
Okay.
turkey? I think it's cold turkey.
Cold.
We're starting cold turkey, folks.
Starting from scratch.
Starting from scratch. I invested in Scratch over the pandemic. That's what all the best things are made of. That's where I put all my money. Took it all to the bank. And they're like, what do you want to do with it? So I put it all on Scratch.
All right, guys. We're here. I'm very, very excited to get this person on before this podcast maybe ends or maybe doesn't. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But if it does end, at least I'll know that I got another episode in with the very funny Matt Baker.
Hey, this podcast is exactly like a person. You don't know when its last day is going to be.
Pretty much.
That's like every podcast, though.
It's going on 6 years.
Every podcast is like that, though. Every podcast, you're like, oh, yeah, this could be the last episode. Maybe not on purpose, but like if, say, like two bears, both Tom and Bert die in a horrible plane crash, there's no more two bears.
It's
So,
really
you
rare
never know.
that a podcast goes, we're here and we're ending the podcast like a month from, like most times it's like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah. That's like, that's how I feel in relationships.
Ooh, getting right into it already.
No, it's just joking. It's just something funny
You're
to say.
already asking me things to follow up on.
Yeah, follow up. Take notes, folks.
This is your third solo.
I think so, yeah. Maybe. Third solo or second solo?
Yeah, third. You've done 2 solos.
I have. Okay.
And then you did one with Albert.
Yeah, I've been on with Albert, been on with Vino, been on with Andrew Verge.
So this is
6, I think.
your fifth?
No, so 2 solos. One with Albert, one with Vino,
6?
one with Andrew Verge. So this is 6.
Oh shit, son.
Yeah, dude.
I gotta tally up the people who've been on the most.
yeah.
Albert's up there.
Albert's up there for sure. He's a likable character.
You're up there. Like Travis is up there too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
It's
Travis like would have been like one of the first comedians that
OG.
I had on. So it makes sense that he's going to be on 250. 250 coming up. This is going to be episode 248.
248. It's my lucky number. My girlfriend's that age. She's 248. This is really difficult to go see her during the pandemic because you weren't allowed to unless you were blood related. And of course, we weren't married at that point. So
248.
248 years old.
What's the skincare routine?
Mostly just I made her a sleeping bag out of cucumber skin.
Jesus
And she
Christ.
just sleeps in a cucumber skin.
Just moisture
Yeah.
from the apparently cucumbers are good
Constant
for your skin.
moisture. I told her my personality thing, attachment style, and she's now always wet. It's a callback to, I don't know if a joke that maybe it's not going
It
to be
may
in
or
the
may
start.
not be on.
Who knows?
I think it's definitely on the audio.
Good start to calling it back to something that no one's going to get the reference.
Yeah, I said to anyone who doesn't get the reference, I was explaining demisexuality, and I said that I can't get wet unless I know a guy's attachment style.
And then I cleverly made a joke about it, and it did not get the applause break I was hoping for.
Okay, speaking of which, we're gonna get right into this. So you recorded an album yesterday.
I recorded an album yesterday, November 22nd, 2022, 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m.
Oh my God, 11-2222.
Sure.
Double numbers all around.
Yeah.
That's kinda cool.
I don't know if that's good news or bad news.
You could look up like
Astrologists, call in. Let us
the
know.
angel. I would look up angel numbers.
Angel numbers?
So angel. Fucking Christ.
Cool.
I'm just giving you things to work with
I
here.
can't get wet unless I know a guy's angel numbers. What are your angel numbers? Oh, God. Oh, God.
Angel numbers are like numbers you see around, and then white women try to make them into things that they aren't.
Oh, well, that's good.
So like on a microwave, you might
So
see like,
it's the lottery for spiritual women.
yeah, pretty much. And you guys might have just heard a laugh. That laugh is the Mr. Bryan Otter here.
Dr. Bryan Otter.
What's up, baby?
You were just on, and I don't ever want you to leave the podcast.
I'm here to stay.
Well,
Yes.
the podcast is dying, so you're going to have to go.
I'm
She literally started this episode off with, we're pretty much coming to an end here, folks. But your next comic can't even leave.
No, it's like one of those things where like, well, I was telling who was I think because I want to get Kyle Carpenter back on at
Oh,
some
yeah,
point
for sure.
too.
One of the best writers in Halifax.
I was kind of feeling like stagnant with the pod, but then I started bringing back like my faves.
The
And I was
faves.
like, oh no, I still love this.
juice it up.
The favorite people.
Dude, they're the corn, dude.
Brian.
They got
and
the
like
juice.
you're one of my fave podcast guests.
Aw, thank you.
I gotta get Kyle back on. I had Michael Kennedy on fairly recently. He's fucking ball.
I haven't seen that guy in a while, but I remember watching one of his first stand-up sets and being like, that guy's a guy.
He's fucking...
He's very funny. It's a funny thing to say.
Very funny.
Yeah, he's very talented, very funny guy. That's one thing I wish I got to see more of is like, I saw like all the staples so far, I think. Like I haven't gotten to see Barnsey do a set or like Carpenter.
Who are the staples?
Staples like Hendricken, obviously, and Claire. And Luba, oh my God, Luba always makes me laugh.
She's
just
fucking
so
fantastic.
fucking funny. And then Halaf and Coombs were on the show, and then obviously Bryan Otter, and then and lots of. And I saw a lot of new faces too that I haven't really seen, but I saw them at the Sunday session. That was not a good gauge either. So that night was a little wild, but it was great.
Weird.
Yeah, saw Vino again. Like it was
what a weird show.
Yeah. I'm just so happy to be back in Halifax for a few and just like seeing people. It's like so sick to see how people have improved or like if they've been working on stuff. So
it's really because you've been away for how long?
Almost a year.
Holy fuck.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah, I disappeared pretty much.
But I guess it has been, eh?
Yeah, pretty much the first that first week of December last year I disappeared, and then I was like, I'm gonna be coming back, and then I had a friggin' crazy journey where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And the good news is I still don't. But I don't know what I'm doing with my life on the other side of the country. So I feel like you're in the better place in terms of the physical place. Yeah. Geographically, I'm doing well.
Like obviously, like if all of your Halifax friends were there, that would be perfect for you.
That'd be sweet.
But like, it is a cooler place. Like that's kind of my thing too. I'm like, Halifax is getting more expensive to live. I'm like, why don't I just be broke somewhere cooler now?
Yeah, but I mean, like I don't want to say what number you pay for this apartment, but like I pay the exact same number and I live in a den with no windows and my roommate's an Australian chick. So like things could be a lot worse for you.
Okay, but the last part sounds like amazing.
What, the Australian chick?
Yeah, that's.
I was gonna say I thought you were appealing to the fucking room with no windows. Like I get you have pale skin, but relax, dude.
I'm gonna be honest. Not a fan of natural light, so I wouldn't mind.
I love natural light, dude.
I know you do.
If the sun
You're an
was up
outdoor
every
guy.
day, yeah, well, I need to be.
Yeah.
You can't have a beard like this and not be able to make a fire.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But I love that in you. I would like to learn more.
That's exactly what I expected you to say. I love that in you.
I love
that for you.
Well, I want to learn like from my outdoorsy friends.
Yeah, well,
That's my thing.
we're all moving away. Bryan Otter's here though. He's an outdoorsy guy.
He is.
He's got a beard. He's got a hat. He owns a car.
But he's not here forever.
You just said you wanted him to be here forever.
I
And now
know.
you're like, but he's not here forever. So you really need to organize that.
I need to figure out what's going on here. Who do I want to say?
I think
Who
we
do I
need to
want
figure
leave?
out what your attachment style is.
What was
You're a
it?
little loosey-goosey.
Brian, I think you said in I think because you were here for Evan Steve's episode, we were talking about attachment styles, and and you just said, I was like, "What's yours, Brian?" You were just like, a lot.
That's your attachment style.
That checks out.
A lot.
You're just a lot. I like to attach.
I feel like that's a good thing. Not.
Yeah,
I thought I get you though. Like if someone follows me on Instagram, like the next day I'm like, okay, so I guess we're getting married in a month. I have no idea. Why did you follow me?
Brian just wants to be friends with everyone, but that's the thing. Everyone wants to be friends with him, so it works out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whereas with me, I want to be friends with everyone, and it is constant work to get a friend. It is like effort. I have to put effort in to have friendship, but that's an age thing, I think, too.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm the same age.
Yeah, we're all the same age.
I'm older than both of you.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
I'm 43. Yeah. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? Huh?
You're 32.
I am shit.
Are you 32?
I'm 32, yeah.
And Brian, you're 32, aren't you?
I'm also 32. Yeah.
Okay, I'm 3 years older than you guys. But,
okay.
but in all fairness,
Do you know how many friends I could make in 3 years?
True. True.
I'm so mad.
We should bust it at a whiteboard and do a chart, an exponential graph on friendship.
I mean, there's people
age.
that are getting there
Yeah.
in terms of on the friend level with me.
Yeah, but I feel like as Brian gets older, he gets more friends. But as you get older, I feel
I
like
get
it's
less.
just fucking plummeting.
Well, this is my theory.
Well,
Because
you're hanging out with a lot of people that die. You gotta stop that.
You're hanging out with me right now.
Yeah.
I keep coming back in hopes that it happens.
Oh, all I have to do is say something cryptic like, see you later, Brian, unless one of us dies, and then it will happen. Because
well, what'd you put that into the universe for?
That's what I said to Big Cat. That was the last thing I physically said to him.
Well, Brian's giving me a ride home, so hopefully.
And people tell me, I don't feel bad about that. I'm like, I literally said, unless one of us dies. Like, I don't know. I really brought it down now, didn't I?
No, it's good. It's good. I'm always vibing. I was the one that brought in the death thing, and then you're like, well, let's make it really sad, though. You know, you know how tragedy can also equal comedy. Let's just make tragedy equal tragedy.
Have you seen Michaela yet?
Yeah, I saw Michaela.
Yeah, so
I didn't
fucking
recognize her there. I was like, who are you? Why are you hugging me?
So good.
No, just joking.
She's so good.
She's so great. She's so great. It was so nice to see her, give her a big hug, and see her smiling. She's taking pictures of everyone. Great photos too, which is sick.
Yeah.
She's getting really good at photography.
She's
It's
insanely
awesome.
good at photography, which is awesome. And then everyone gets all these cool photos, and I'm like, Otter and I had this conversation earlier, and this is like, it's so sweet to have good quality photos. And I'm like ever since I started shooting a lot more photos, I'm like a big advocate for having pictures of you doing the passions that you have. Yeah. And then that way, if like something crazy happens, whatever goes on, you'll have photographs, and people will remember like not just you for you, but like you doing the things that you really loved in your life, which is like huge. So when people get like photos of themselves doing comedy and like, oh, I don't know if I like it, be like, are you kidding me? That's the thing that you love the most. Who cares if your mouth is agape or something like that, or you have 6 chins? Like, who gives a shit?
I care so much. Brian, what do you think of that?
I agree with Baker.
What?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought you'd be on my side.
Why would he be on your side?
You guys are men.
We're not.
It's different for us.
There's this like weird thing that because we're men, we don't hate photos of ourselves. We're like, we're men. We always look good.
I don't know.
I just grew a beard to hide my chin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I have yet to see a stand-up picture of me that I like.
That's all right. You don't have to
genuinely like. I'll post ones that I'm like, oh, I like the energy in this photo.
Yeah,
but it's not.
That's fine.
But it
it's
would be
nice that you have those photos of yourself doing the thing that you enjoy doing.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure. When you said that, I kind of chuckled because when you said pictures of people doing the things that they're passionate about, and I just pictured a picture of me on my phone, like in bed laying.
Watching TikToks?
Yes.
Just watching an abundance of TikToks.
That's literally what I was like. Someone needs to get a picture of me in bed.
If you enjoy that, that's fine.
Scrolling mindlessly, watching videos of people restocking closets and cats smelling things.
Cat Smelling Things is the name of my album.
What is the name of your album? Have you picked a name?
No idea.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to name it yet. So yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's the same this is the same process that I'm going to do when I'm a father. I'm going to wait for the baby to come out and then really hang on to it for a few months and then decide.
Pull a Kylie Jenner.
Sure, I don't even know who that lady is or what she did, but yeah.
Kylie Jenner, one of the Kardashians. She had a kid that was unnamed. Actually, was named Wolf for
Kardashians? I'm more of a bike Dashian guy.
Okay, Albert Coombs.
Yeah, Kardashians, man. I'm more of a bike Dashian kind of guy.
The kid was named Wolf.
Wolf?
For a short time. And then And then she took away the
name.
And
then he got tranquilized by the government because wolves are an endangered species, but they also cannot be found within city limits. Because they pose a danger to humans.
Could you? So this is what I would do if I were you.
Well, yeah,
if I were you,
yeah, tell me.
I'm never going to record a comedy album, so
yeah, that's a good thing to put into the air. It's a good thing.
Oh, did you just subscribe to the universe caring? The universe doesn't care. It's not going to give you what you want. You got to get it yourself. It truly doesn't care about you.
I know.
We are about to implode. Like things are going to end soon.
I'm banking on it.
I am too. I want to be around for it.
Claire Belford has a great bit about the end of the world right now. And every time I've seen her do it, like I've seen her 2 or 3 times since I've been here, and I'm like, oh my god.
Is it the yeah?
Well, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know. Who knows? She's got so much on the go. She's doing so friggin' well that I'm just like, I'm not going to say what the bit is because who knows? It's probably going to be on TV or something crazy.
It'll be on TV soon.
But yeah,
and her special.
But yeah, that joke is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
About the end of the world. Anyways. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is what I would do if I was naming a comedy album. You could find like, I guess like a common theme in your jokes or maybe like something you reference multiple times and play off of that.
Yeah. I'm going to call it Matt Baker, Lack of Confidence. Or Matt Baker
Honestly?
should have really worked this material out for a bit more.
Stop. Okay. Actually, well, we got to get into the assumption segment because I have a bunch of assumptions.
Assumption.
We're going to do assumptions. My assumptions about you. You're never proud of yourself.
Yeah, that's good.
What the fuck, man? I was like, Baker, you did so great. Amazing job. Not one part of you went, I did the thing and I'm proud?
Yeah, no.
What?
But I think that'll come maybe maybe once I have it like out. Like Richard actually just sent me the audio file like just before I sat down, so I'm gonna listen to them and probably stay up. But I may not listen to them right away just because I know I'm gonna like worry about it. So I'm either gonna listen to them tomorrow or I'll wait until I'm flying home on Sunday and listen to them then. But I think the pride thing just comes with like looking back. I definitely think I could have done a lot more to prepare for it, but. I didn't.
But it's your first album.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I had to do it. I had to just get it done, and then that way, moving forward, I could be like, okay, well, yeah, maybe this sucks, but at least now I know the next one's not going to suck as much because it should be better than this, and I've learned that. So,
and it's not going to suck. It was great.
Yeah, who knows?
You did fantastic.
It was cool. It was fun. It was it was all right time.
You did a good job, and you should be proud. Be proud of yourself more for doing the things, because not everyone does the things.
Not everyone does the things.
And you did the thing. You did the thing, and you should be proud for just doing it.
The thing.
The thing.
Nice.
Recording and now you did 2 back-to-back shows. Which one did you like more in terms of, I guess, like having fun on stage and like?
Oh, the second show was way more riffy. Second show was way more. So first show was just like more about getting the material out and like, cause I hadn't had a chance to actually work that 45 like for a while. And even like I had a good idea that I knew what I was going to try to do for it. But anytime I go on stage, there's just like you know how people have like the devil and the angel on one shoulder?
Yeah.
Well, mine's like material and crowd work, and material is just like dead. Like I killed material long ago. I was like, I don't even give a shit what you have to say, material. I just want to talk to crowd work. So every time I go on stage and I think I'm going to work, you know, a big chunk of material, what I end up doing is just a lot of crowd work. And because of that, I don't actually ever get to weave everything together as much as I wish I could. So last night was a great example of just like having to actually sit down and do bit after bit after bit after bit after bit without really riffing on anything, without even being able to pull the audience too much or anything like that. So that was like a bit of a weird moment for me. But the first show was all tight. I felt it was all pretty tight with material. I don't really think I got to riff at all. And then the second show, I felt decent enough with the first show, and Richard, who recorded it, and who I'm ever so thankful for. Thank you so much, Richard.
I was so relieved when I saw him.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't sure who was doing your audio, and I was like, I'm hoping it was fucking Richard.
Yeah, he's so fucking great. Man.
Hell yeah.
I love that
He's
guy.
fantastic.
Thank you so much, Richard. You're the best.
He will make it sound amazing.
Yeah. I told him to put Travis's laugh track over it.
Stop.
I told him to take it from his album. But so then the second show, I just felt a little looser.
Yeah.
And so I riffed a couple good moments, and like one of the first moments I riffed, I got like a really good response on. So I was like, oh, why the fuck am I doing material? You know?
Well, would you then put in kind of a mix?
Yeah. So like that'll definitely, I'm going to try and make sure that that's a track, just because I really enjoyed the riff and I thought that it was quality enough to be like its own little one-off thing.
Its own little thing.
So yeah, I definitely want it to be a looser feel anyways.
Yeah.
Because
that's more you.
Yeah, it is. And that's the thing. Like for me to do 45 of straight material was not me.
Yeah.
I was trying to be something that I'm not, which is like just a material guy.
Right.
So, but in February, I'm recording a all crowd work special. I'm filming one. So it's just all
fuck yeah, man. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that'll be good. But yeah, so the first show was good for the material, but the second show was way more riffy.
But you have the mix now, and you have both vibes.
Yeah.
And you have the straight material one, and you have the crowd work one.
Yeah.
Crowd work is like, I really want to get into crowd work. I'm slowly getting there.
Yeah.
But like it is, I am really drawn to it. And I think as soon as I started thinking about it, like they're just little mini podcasts.
Yeah, they are for sure.
With don't make it long. Like don't.
I would say if you want to get into crowd work, host a bunch. Like go out of your way to host a lot, because when you host, like if this is going to be like my own personal opinion about hosting, but when you host, the last thing you want to see a host do is go up there and be like, hey, jokes. I'm so-and-so. We're going to have a great show. I noticed the other day on the bus, and then everyone goes into shit. It's like way better to address it, because you are hosting like a party. So when you start a party, you talk to everyone. How's everyone feeling?
Oh, yeah. You got to talk off the top.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
When you host, you get to riff a bit more, and you get to interact with the crowd. You get to kind of pull. You get to, is anyone here for anything? You start off with basic crowd work stuff, like is anyone celebrating and who's coming from where? But that stuff eventually leads you to the ability to be like, as long as I throw this out, there's a moment there where there's a pause and they respond. And in that moment, I can think of how I want to respond. And then your brain starts functioning like, I can volley this. And then boom. But hosting is going to definitely, like, if you want to be good at crowd work, like obviously, again, this is just my view on it. Like hosting is going to, that's what got me to where I am. And not that I'm a great crowd work guy, but it's definitely the thing that I enjoy the most.
I actually really enjoy hosting. I've done it quite a few times.
Yeah.
And
it's fun.
Hosting Gus's and it forces you into that like very casual connect with the audience mode. And also you're giving the comics on the lineup information that like they like, so if you're talking to the crowd and you find out someone works a construction job or there's, you know what I mean? Like
you're probing that other people can use later on too.
Yes.
Like if you do, who's any single people in the crowd tonight? And maybe you riff off of one, then there's other people who can come back and use that exact information that you use to then play off their own jokes. And what that does too is it allows everyone in the room to be like, this is kind of being catered towards us almost. Like, I'm referencing this guy that we all can see in this exact moment. And then that joke feels more or less like it's being conversed with as opposed to just delivered.
Just regurgitated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've always went to probe comics.
Yeah, well, don't say it like that. But
I purposely said it like that.
You want to probe the audience members. Don't probe comics. Sure. Probe Bryan, whatever you want to do.
Why am I not shocked, Bryan?
Yeah, you're going to keep him here forever and he's just going to get probed.
Okay. I wrote, so because of the crowd work thing, because of how magical you are at it, I wrote, you must be really good on first dates. The way that I see it is, like, I'm a podcaster, so I'm great on dates.
Yeah. That's so confident.
No, but I am. Like at the very, very fucking least, I will ask them questions about themselves, and I'm curious, and I will, even if I'm like, there's nothing here, I will make that person feel important.
To make it not to make it weird, but to be like, I don't think I've ever really gone on a first date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like most of the people that I've been with, I've just kind of like have been like coworkers or people that like have just gotten to know and then turned into what it was. Like I've never really invited someone out for a date. And
not like a get to know you date.
Yeah.
Like from an app or anything?
No.
What?
No.
You should do that.
I've never pulled from an app. I think maybe once I kind of did something and it wasn't fun. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm never doing that again. But yeah, I'm sure it would be fun. But like crowd work it's fun to riff. Like sometimes I'll download not sometimes. The odd time if I download Tinder, I'm more or less, it's just fun to like riff on there than it is to actually meet up.
Well, that was
people.
another thing I had. I was like, you must be good on the apps and like not a boring person to text with on dating apps.
I'm still boring. Like I'll riff with women and they're like, we don't like this. And then they they unmatch it.
Do they literally say that?
No, they just do the unmatched thing.
What?
Yeah, no, it's nicer that way. I just assume they delete the app. They're like, well, there's no one better than this guy and I can't have him. Delete. No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of right, kind of wrong. Not really sure where I land with that assumption.
We'll call it a tie.
I wrote that your feeling, I can feel like I'm already wrong on this. Your feelings don't get hurt easily. So what I mean by that is like, you're not... Okay, you're a Pisces moon, so you're kind of sensitive by default. but you're not overly sensitive.
Yeah, I've been compared. Someone called a couple people called me like an emotional robot before, emotionless robot.
But no, I don't agree with that.
No, it was a compliment for sure.
I think. That's so weird. Who called you that?
I don't want to get into it.
Oh, someone you were dating?
Yeah, obviously. I hope so. Jeez, not some random stranger be like, hey, don't know who you are, but I just wanted to see that you. No, it just.
I feel like you don't take things personal.
Yeah, I don't deep dive into things too quickly. I stay in the shallow end for quite some time. And because of that, it's just like easier for me to be like, okay, that is what it is. And I try not to take anything super, super personal because it's just like, we're all humans. We all fault. And I don't really like to make anyone feel bad or like take things personal. And my dad is really good at that. My dad's like insane, like Zen master. Like when we were younger, it was kind of different. But now that we're older and he's older, like he's just like, it's just like, oh, kind of, he doesn't say it is what it is, but he's very good at the like, what can you do about it? And that's like kind of how I try and go about most things. It's just like,
there's quite literally nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Like for things that are out of your control happening around you, It's like, why? Yeah, why be stressed? Like it's just only making you less peaceful in yourself.
So like I feel like some people can hurt me for sure, but like not to the extent that I let it like bother me enough. Just because I'm just like, but that's because I don't think I invest in it enough to get, you know what I mean? To get hurt in a sense where I'm like so dedicated to that like if I was betrayed by it, it hurts. So much.
You keep things at a distance.
Yeah.
For safety.
Yeah, like I stay in the shallow end. I stay shallow the whole time. And then
but you're not a shallow person.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm a shallow person.
Not like old Shallow Hal.
Yeah, that's a great film. It's a documentary.
That is a great film. Was that Jack Black?
Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah.
All right. Well, this one's kind of connected to what I just said, but I just wrote that it's hard to get you in a bad mood. I feel like I've never seen a pissed off baker.
No, I don't really get angry. I don't think.
I don't see you as someone who's gets angry or like pissed off. Like you're very even keel, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
A very good thing.
I try not to portray emotion too easily, especially if it's like anger or like disappointment or anything like that. I try and stay neutral with the bad emotions, and then I try and amplify the good emotions. So like if I'm feeling upset, I'll try really my best to like be as Swiss as I can about it in a sense. But like if I'm stoked, then I really go out of my way to be like, oh, this is sick. So then that way, ideally, that becomes more contagious.
And that's what radiates out. Kind of
yeah, exactly. Because when you're negative, like, and people know that you're down, that like you're going to bring the vibe down. It's not your intention by any means, but like,
feel called
but
out
when you're
that.
like stoked, and then you like go above and beyond to be like, I am stoked. And then that just gets everyone jazzed up too. So I'd rather do that.
I've been leaning, I talked about this with Bryan on our episode.
Yeah.
I've been leaning into the fact that I'm just not a happy person.
That's all right though.
And that I literally think it's my personality at this point. It's been 35 years where I'm like, I see people. There is a colleague of ours, shout out Amanda Spriggs.
Spriggs. I don't know.
She's very positive on Twitter. She's always talking about like, I'm a big ball of love today. And I have this routine of replying to her tweets with, we're very different.
Some people though fake it till they make it. And online personalities are very different than whoever you actually are too, right?
Well, and I don't really like toxic positivity.
Toxic? I never even heard that term.
It's like just this overly positive, like not really
like everything's going to be okay and we're all wonderful.
I hate that.
Yeah. I think there's like a acknowledgement that has to be made for like,
Yeah.
The only way there's positivity is if there's negativity. Like you get light in the dark, all that yin and yang or whatever.
I just hate to say it, but like most times when I'm negative, I'm correct.
Yeah.
So like it only reinforces me being like either realistic or like I consider myself a realist. Yeah. I know a lot of people might not consider me that because they think astrology, that's not real.
Everything we have in this world is literally just stuff that's been made up anyways, and it's just come to fruition because it is. Like microphones, like was fake until they were real. So like astrology is like, who cares? I don't care. If you believe in it, sweet. If you don't think it's real, then you don't think it's real. But at the end of the day,
by the way, great attitude to have in the dating world. What you just said,
sure.
Not being, because the thing is, when you're an astrology bitch, and you're dating, there's nothing that sets us off more. Like, because like I feel like there's this thing where women who I'm gonna pop off with this.
Hold on, before we pop off, I want to tell you there's this guy in the West Coast scene, Patrick McCann, amazing comedian, so funny.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bite his joke for a bit because it's so fucking relevant to this what we're talking about. His joke is basically I've never gotten my dick sucked for not believing in astrology.
Exactly.
So
the key is, and like
and that's his bit, by the way. Patrick McCann, follow him, so funny.
See,
not my bit. I would never say such a thing.
Maybe now I'm tripping on his bit because I'm trying to write a bit where it's like guys need to believe in it just the right amount, where it can't be, you can't hate it too much. But you can't love it too much.
You gotta compare it to like sports bandwagoners, like someone's jumping on too soon now. You're like, whoa, you never rooted for this team in the first place.
Yeah,
like you were into the sport, but you were never like all about it.
Yeah, it has to be. I don't care.
Yeah.
Either way, that's the hottest trait in a man.
Yeah.
To a guy
to
that
not
does,
care.
a
Yeah,
guy
gentlemen,
that does
that's
not
what we
get
want, baby.
And a guy that does not get rattled when I said Pisces moon earlier and you didn't flinch.
Yeah. That's because I thought you said pizza soon. I was like, pizza soon. Thank God.
What was it? It was like Travis said, was it a fucking live stream? We were talking about astrology. It's like I'm a Taurus leaving. I was like, oh my God. That's fucking great.
The guy with the riffs.
But it's just like there's nothing less attractive than the ones that get really riled about astrology, because then girls like me, I want to rile them more because I love that it's pissing you off.
Yeah, because then you say stuff like, well, you're acting a bit like a Libra right now. And they're like, what? What does that even mean? You're like, well, exactly what you're doing.
Libras wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
They're into balance.
We are into balance, I guess.
By the way, both you and Bryan are Libras.
We are Libras.
Libra kings.
We're going to get Libra tattoos tomorrow, maybe.
Oh, you should get Libra tattoos.
No, we won't get Libra tattoos, but...
I love Libras, both men and women,
nice.
I think. Yeah. Because Libra women, I mean, all of you guys are just attractive people.
Oh, jeez.
I think Libras and Sagittariuses are the most attractive. Okay, here we go. Another assumption. You hold yourself to a ridiculously high standard.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I hold myself to a ridiculously high standard, but I hold myself to a standard of which I find is equal amongst my peers. So like I wouldn't say it's ridiculously high standard. I like anytime I'm measuring myself, I'm like, just where do I sit amongst the people that I care about the most?
Oh, interesting.
So like it's not my ridiculously high standards. I'm not like setting these crazy out of bar stuff just for myself. I'm just like, well, where are the people that I care about the most in the thing that I care about? Like in comedy, the people that I care about the most, what are they doing and what standard are they operating at? And am I getting to that standard?
Is it the people you care about the most that are also around the same quote unquote level?
No.
As you, or just the people you look up to?
Just like people, like both people I look up to and both people on the same level. Like I know that if it's a shared passion, then the quality that they have and the standard that they have should be similar to mine.
Got ya.
So it's not a ridiculous standard because I've seen it been done. So it's not like, oh, it needs to be the best, but it's just like, oh, now I can look at this and be like, this is what so-and-so did. And you know what? I do feel like this is on par with that. And now I can like take a little bit of pride in thinking that, you know, these two things could go toe to toe and I would feel comfortable with it. So
yeah, like for example, if you respected a comic that was
which
smart.
I don't respect anyone.
If you respected a smart comic, like you probably, like I probably wouldn't be like, I'm doing a comedy album after 2 years.
Yeah.
You know?
But honestly too,
because would I piss people off with
if
that?
If you love comedy, then why not? Like, I don't think there's anyone that can tell you when is the right time to do something, because at the end of the day, like I thought now is the right time to do this album, but I wasn't ready to do it. But I did it, and now moving forward, I can kind of do more, and it's like a shooting off point, like it's a launching off point. Like I learned by doing an album what to do in an album.
That's right.
So that's the only thing you can do. So if you want to, like, sure, maybe you don't have the material to do an album 2 years in, but the fact that you say, like in this fictitious scenario, that you want to do an album, you'll become a better comic trying to do that album.
Interesting.
2 years in, then not trying to do it for 8 years. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting perspective, because I agree with that. But there's also, so I had a show, I know he's probably listening. Hello, Josh Poulin. New comics, like under a year in, started in February.
Yep.
Made a point when I was talking to him about goals.
Goals, yep.
And he was like, I don't have any. I just want to get good at the art, and I don't want to have expectations. And I was like, I don't know what's the better way to go, because I'm on the goal end, and I find I don't have as much fun because I'm always aiming for success. I'm always like aiming for perfect.
Yeah.
That I find that I don't find comedy as fun as, like, say someone like Josh, who is just truly like gives himself little goals. Like he was saying, you know, every set I have a little goal for myself, whether that's like take a sip of my drink more, or hold the mic. Hold the mic.
Hey, hydrate yourself more during your set. Yeah, good job. Way to set some goals.
But like little things, like little stage presence things.
Yeah.
But I guess he's very new in. He only started in February. But
yeah.
But like I like motivators like that. Personally, it makes me work harder, but I maybe that's just a personality type thing.
I definitely think goals are important in comedy, but I think just the way you go about measuring them and like how you create them, I think has got to be different. Like I think if you put like numeric values on certain things with goals, it's always you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Like if you're like, I need to write 20 minutes a day.
Yes.
Well, then you're going to just disappoint yourself. But if you're like, I need to have at least 3 bits a month that I feel really stoked about.
That's a little bit better.
Like,
yes.
Sure, 3 is a numeric value, but at least it's just like, okay, I know that within that I need to have this. I got to feel better about it. But like, it seems a lot more accomplishable. But then at the same time, you realize that you can probably do that pretty easily. And then it makes you eliminate the ones that you don't even think are that great. So then you're focusing on, I need to make like 3 really good ones this month, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I don't know. I don't set goals for myself too much in comedy. Like the biggest goal I had right now was just making this album. And even that was just more or less because I wanted to do it. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see if I could do it. And I had the material for it.
Yes, you did. Hell
part.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
fuck yeah.
It's important to set goals, but also it's important to just kind of like
not
measure yourself against others and see where they're at and you're at, and then base stuff off of that enough too, right? Like I wouldn't have recorded an album if I didn't think that I should be recording an album, in a sense that like I know people that are around my level or around my experience level per se are starting to work towards that. So I'm like, okay, I feel safe trying to go for that, right?
Interesting. So it's more of like they inspire you, but you're not comparing yourself to them, right?
Yeah. I like,
because like comparison is not great.
Joy, but like,
yes, it is.
Everyone's gonna laugh at everything differently. Like, I mean, you've seen a bunch of comedy. I've seen a bunch of comedy. Brian's seen a bunch of comedy. Like when you watch enough comedy, you're gonna see a crowd that loves one person a lot, and then you're gonna go to a new room the next day and see that person eat a bag of dicks. And then you're going to be like, well, that person, are they consistent? Do they suck? No, it's just like, who knows? Maybe that just wasn't their crowd. And you filled a room with 70 people who absolutely loved him. And then in that situation, they just like, it was 70 people who maybe didn't like him that much. But like the fact that there's a comedy album out there, you know, so like I'm going to enjoy someone's stuff a lot more than maybe you might, but that doesn't mean the album that I'm listening to is bad or the album that you're listening to is bad. That's right.
It's all just personal.
So it's all just personal.
It is all totally personal.
You gotta, the thought process I kind of had was like, if I just put it out there, maybe I don't even like it, but there's a good chance that someone out there is going to like it.
Well, yeah.
And then if someone likes it, then they follow me. And then that's someone who wants to see more of my comedy. And that means I get to do more comedy.
Yeah, it all works out.
Yeah. So
I love that.
If it's like the goal was to go in there, record it, see what happens. If it sounds good, which I'm sure the sound will be great because Richard does a great job. Like, I mean, like just the actual quality of everything sound wise will sound good. Then I'm going to put it out. Even if I'm not like 1,000% stoked on it, I'm still going to do it because then there's a chance that people hear it and do love it. And you're going to bring them to me. And I'm going to have more people that want to see me. And then I'm going to want to do better for those people. And then the next album I do is going to be better than the first.
Even
like
better.
you want to always be one-upping yourself.
You want to be like, doing yourself.
Yeah.
Not like looking at others and trying to be better than them.
Exactly. Like everyone's had this happen to them at a show where someone's like, oh, you were the best. And you're like, yeah, but that's just what you felt. There's also 3 other people going up to another comic at the end of the show saying you were the best.
Right.
And neither of those people are wrong because the best is up to the person who's telling it to you. That's it. It's shitty when they're like, you were the best, everyone else sucked.
It's shitty when they compliment the comic beside you, but not.
Yeah, that's always fun. That's why you got to be careful where you stand at the end of the room.
I like to just bolt from my colleagues after sets so no one can say anything to me. Just no, can't hear you.
Don't fucking talk to me. The best is when you get a good set
it.
and you weren't even on the show.
That's
my
God.
favorite.
I had a District 5 I did recently and this woman came up to me and I hadn't done that room since it was the old District 5 but now it's this new revamped version. And a woman came up to me like drunk, like 40-year-old woman. I love you. You're so great. She's like, I saw you the other week. You were here the other week. And I was like, I can't argue with her. She's drunk.
Yeah.
I was just
definitely
like,
not
oh, thank you so much for the compliment. I was just like, you definitely didn't see me. And I'm also curious as to who you saw that you thought was me.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good though. Hey, whatever. As long as they're coming and supporting comedy, you're just like, yeah, that was me. I was also doing this. So thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, just like, yeah.
It'd be worse if she was like, I saw you last week and you were way funnier last week. And it wasn't you in the first place. You're like, A, that's not me. And B, ouch.
And B, ouch. That's so funny. Okay, the only other assumption I had for you.
You got a lot of assumptions, dude.
This is the last one. I had more with Josh because Josh was just like a mystery man. Because I didn't know.
Yeah, I only bump shoulders with him. I can understand why you see it's a mystery.
Oof, he studies comedy, dude. Like to an insane analytical.
You gotta keep a distance from things sometimes.
In an analytical way. Spreadsheets of data.
Spreadsheets of data?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. He's a software developer though. So it like I can understand how the brain works that way.
No, everyone's gonna do it as long as you're funny. It really doesn't matter what fucking process you use to become funny.
Fair enough.
But if you're not funny and you have like spreadsheets of data, I'm gonna be like, that's kind of weird.
Let me just hide my spreadsheets. Just close these windows. The other assumption this is just a basic one. I just assume that you are very adaptable in weather. Because we walked in the cold from Quimple to where was it?
Yeah, we were going from Oxford Tap Room to Silly Sesh on Argyle.
You're tough with weather.
Yeah, you're comparing me to a duck. You're like, you know what? I assume you are a duck. No type of weather bothers you
because of the outdoorsy thing. I feel like you can withstand like extreme cold and extreme heat.
Probably. I think everyone can. Everyone's different. Mentally, they're just like, I'm uncomfortable now. And then,
I see what you mean.
like, I mean, yeah, your body's going to get uncomfortable, but it's just like how much you want to be like, okay, I'm recognizing I'm uncomfortable, but am I dying? No. Do I know where I'm going? Yes. Am I going to get there eventually? And then I'll warm up and then I'll be comfortable again? Yes. So what does it matter? It'd be different if we're just walking in the Antarctic. And I was like, yeah, this is the worst. But yeah, I'm comfortable if I'm aware of what's going on.
Because you do the cold plunges. You go in the cold water.
We went in the ocean on Tuesday.
Can I ask, have you seen benefits from that? Like just
I don't get to do it often enough to see benefits.
No?
No.
Do you see are you more energized the day that you do it?
Yeah. Like instantaneously you feel like $1 million.
The adrenaline really fucking kicks in, eh?
I
want to do it.
My little spooky bitch, as Bryan Otter always says, spooky bitches bit. I genuinely think that going into the ocean, having like bare feet on the ground, going to the salt water, feeling the pull of like the tide and all that, I genuinely think there's like benefits to that in like a weird magnetic world way. So when you get to do that and you get to experience nature, because we all are nature, we've done such a good job as humans of separating ourselves from this like basically natural systems that we are originally a part of, but now we've distanced ourselves from it so much that we view nature so much differently, like it's a complete alter ego to us. But we are the water that's in the ocean and in the sand and the gravel, we're all that shit. So when you return yourself to that, not to get all fucking hippy dippy,
I love this.
Like, when you return to yourself to that, it's like a nice feeling to just be like, oh yeah, this is it. Like thousands of years ago, this is what people just did, and now it feels stupid for me to be like, oh, I hope people buy tickets to my album.
Yeah, no, exactly. It puts things in perspective, eh?
Yeah. It makes you just like, okay, cool, whatever.
Go in the ocean.
Or the ocean could take me away right now, and I'll die, and I won't record an album.
I've always wanted to try the polar dip thing.
It's great.
I just don't have access to the ocean. Other than the harbor, which I don't recommend.
Why not? Your body's it's gonna be cold, and you'll build up the tolerance. Yeah.
I would become a meme. That's why I'm not doing it.
You'll become a meme?
Meme, yeah, for sure.
Oh, I thought you said immune. I thought you were trying to say immune. A meme?
I've already been a meme in this city. I can't do it again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I actually Joe Harfouche is part of the story. He was dating sorry, Joe, if you're listening, I'm mentioning.
Hey, sorry, Joe. Sorry about your ex there, bud.
Your ex-girlfriend. He was dating my roommate at the time. And it was right after a massive snowstorm. Nice. Like we got so much snow, and there was this huge pile of snow in the Walmart parking lot near our place. And I was in this complex, just another apartment building with this roommate. And I decided to like dress up as Wonder Woman and go stand on top of it as like a dun da da.
It's like a cool like
in the snowstorm, and it was freezing out.
Yeah,
and like I was in like
snowstorms tend to be cold.
They do. They do.
Just for the viewers out there, the viewers and the listeners, snow, if you don't know, occurs in negative temperatures. So if there's a whole storm of it, you can almost guarantee that it's not going to be tropical.
It's not going to be warm.
Please continue.
Anyways, and I went and I stood, and he took a video and also a picture of me, and it went viral the next day on Twitter. Like a radio station retweeted it, and like, I don't know. I think the title was like something like "The Hero We Need" or
nice. So it's like a positive thing.
It was a positive thing.
Okay,
but it's really funny because every now and then I'll scroll the Halifax Reddit and just see if people are mentioning the podcast at all.
Oh, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I went on there because I saw that you would like someone plug the podcast. I can't do it or I'll get kicked out, and so I went on there.
True.
And if you go on that feed, you'll see that someone said, the Intoxicated Podcast is pretty funny. They have local comedians on in there. It's a nice little comedy podcast. Yeah, you should check it out.
Oh my god, that's so nice.
Check it out. Check it out.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Because there was one post in there at one point that was about looking for a local podcast.
Yeah, so that's the one I responded to.
But no, this was like a while ago.
Okay.
This was a while ago, and someone wrote, "Intoxicated. The host is the Wonder." Actually, they got the heroes mixed up. I think they called me like Supergirl or something.
Either way.
Yeah, I was like, they knew I was
as long as they knew you're a female superhero. And they're not like, the host was dressed up as Iron Man and sat on top of a pile of dirt or something. The host got shittered and just stood on top of a dumpster in a Hulk costume. And
it was a badass moment though, but I do think I do need to do a little polar dip situation. I would love to like experience that.
Talk to Joe. He'll hook you up. I feel
like I will be cursing a lot.
Oh yeah. It's not like when
How long do you stay in?
Oh, it's in and out.
In and out.
Yeah. I treat the polar dip the same way I treat intercourse. Like it's quick. It's really fast, and usually I end up screaming and saying, I regret this.
Honestly, as a workaholic, appreciate that. I don't have time.
Yeah. I was like, why? Of course it's going to be that small. It's cold, Oh my God.
That's so funny. Okay. Are you ready for the second segment?
Yeah, bring it on.
I'm curious to know if you have a rant for me.
A rant? I tried to think of something to rant about, but honestly,
nothing pisses me off. I'm a Libra Zen man?
I'll rant about something. It'll probably be comedy wise.
No. Pop off.
It can be anything.
Pop off. Can be anything. I could rant about comedy for days.
I'll rant about comedy.
There's unreleased podcasts that could get me in trouble.
Do it. I don't care. No one cares. Just say what you want. I'll rant about comedy, and I think that. I think that people need to realize the benefits of show up, go up mics, and yeah, that's a one. And then here I'll rant about another one. This is like a scenario that's been happening in the scene that I'm a part of, and there was a situation that occurred between two bookers where one booker was like, "If you work with this guy, you can't work with me." And I'm ranting in the fact that like, as a comedian, if you want to be a good comedian, you want to make a living doing comedy, you can't, like, obviously if there's actual moral things involved, then yeah, you should make a decision and choose how you go about your business. But if it's just weird shit, at the end of the day, if you want to be a comedian, be a comedian. Go to the place that you're getting paid, that's consistent, and that's offering you and treating you like a professional.
Yes.
Go to the place. It's because like, as much as there's huge friendships within the industry and everyone wants to be your buddy, everyone wants to be your pal, and you can have that. You can have your cake and eat it too. You just need to realize like your own worth, what you should get paid, what should be provided to you as a comedian, and then be like, okay, well, I'm not going to just let someone tell me who I can and cannot work with. I'm going to go about I'm going to make my own decisions. And then that way I'm in charge of whether or not I do well, whether or not I get stage time, whether, I'm not saying no to something, because at the end of the day, every time you get up on stage, anytime you share a stage with someone, you're sharing it with a different person, ideally that you've never really worked with before. And then you shake hands with them, and then they shake hands with someone else and say, did you see this person? I just worked with them. So like, anytime you have a chance to work with someone new, do it. And if someone's telling you not to work with someone, unless there's some weird friggin' like actual moral issue with it, just go and do it.
And I feel like if that person is making people be exclusive to them, like, there's something shady about that like, they clearly don't understand what it takes to be a working comic. I was actually, I won't be specific with this, but I was with a comedian here in Halifax who responded to a booker about this exact situation. And it was interesting just like seeing how he worded his response and, set the boundary. And it was nice seeing that. And then once he did, the guy was just like, okay, never mind. He was just like, okay.
They're like, don't work with this person. If you work here, you can't work there. And the guy's like, but this is my response.
Comic stood up for himself. And then like the booker essentially retreated.
Yeah, good.
And I was like, there you go. You have to stand your fucking ground.
That's the same situation that I was in. Like, so like there was a situation going on, and I just went up and I was just like, listen, I appreciate all the opportunities that I've been given through this avenue. And I understand that there might be a feud with this avenue. But the way I see it is I'm trying to turn this into a job. And as a position in a job, I can't think about outside little childish shit. I need to think about what is best for me to make money, treat it like an actual job. And to treat it like an actual job, I can't look at it through weird fucking childish outside shit. I need to look at it. How am I getting paid? How consistent is this? What opportunities are being presented to me? And should I take them? And yes,
is it good for me to take this thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's good. So that's my rant is always fucking don't let anyone tell you who you can and cannot work with. Just follow whatever feels the most professional. And then that way you're working towards something bigger and better, as opposed to worrying about stepping on people's toes or pissing off the wrong person. Because the person who tells you they can't work with someone or any of that shit, like at the end of the day, they got their own shit that they got to deal with. But they're not, in that exact moment, they're not looking out for you.
No, they're not.
Which is fine, but you got to look out for you. And then the way you do that is by being like, all right, well then I'm going to go do this thing that is better for me. And
comedy is a solo pursuit. Like it is, you are on your, like in terms of like, you make the decisions. You don't have a boss being like, performance reviews or whatever. Like you are your own critic. Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. It's a wild, wild career to pursue. It's a lot. Yeah. You look like you're like, what's that look?
No,
is it existential crisis?
No, I was like,
going on in your head?
Was it smart to say all that?
No. Well, I mean, you weren't specific. Or
no, I wasn't specific, but it's pretty specific if you know the situation.
Sarah, follow up with Matt while you're editing this and ask him if he gave any thought to what he just said. But going back to the show up, go up mic thing.
Yeah.
You ran one here in Halifax.
Yeah, I used to run one with Robbie Vino, and we had a great time, and it was, I think, really beneficial to the scene. And I think every place should have it. Like in Kelowna, we have Thursday open mic. It's sometimes 40 people on that list.
Holy
and
fuck.
I get it that it sucks sometimes, but like as a group, it's super fun to see people go up and do time, and you watch people grow, and new people get to see a lot of it. Whereas like when you limit people to having to book so far in advance, it's really tough to get in a rhythm and to build the confidence and to like be like, okay, well, who do I got a message on Tuesday to get on next Tuesday or 3 Tuesdays from now? Or who do I message on Monday? Who do I got a message on the Thursday? Who do I got a message on this? And then when you get into that, there's all this like aspect of like, oh, well, these people got to get back to you. And everyone in the scene has day jobs and stuff like that, so they're not immediately getting back to you. So I think every scene needs to have at least one show up, go up, and then that way it's fucking sweet.
Equal format, standard format. Everyone knows the format.
Yeah, exactly.
All you gotta do is show up. That's all you gotta do, and everyone can do that as long as they know the time.
Yeah, you got 4 minutes. Be there.
4 minutes, short, quick. Do your new shit. Don't do old stuff.
The scene that we have now, like in Kelowna, it's the open mic is kind of show up, go up, but the guy makes the list in advance, and then he has open spots for people who just haven't been able to sign up. So maybe a brand new comic. So he has like gaps in the list for new comics, so that way they're not just stuck to go at the end.
That's what I did. I ran 2 mics at Dal for a short period of time, and I kind of did it that way too, where it was like I just left like for newbies wanting to do a first set or whatever. Yeah,
and having space for newbies is always great. And I mean, Foggy Goggle had that, right?
Foggy Goggle was a joy.
Great show.
What a joy. Because that was, it was a mix of the two. So she did pre-book people, but then she had the 4 hot spots. So, and it was always kind of exciting too with the hot spots, because like you would go and the way that I say it is like comics lined up like horses on a racetrack. Like we're all just like,
oh yeah,
who's gonna be next? Who's gonna be next? And it was like exciting. And then sometimes you wouldn't get to go up, but at least you came out, you got to see your friends. Like I remember Daily Grind, the one that you hosted, like that summer, 2020 summer, like that was so much fucking fun.
Yeah, sweet having everyone
That
there.
was so
Everyone knew
much
that they were getting
fun.
on, so everyone got to like pay attention and think about their bits, and then everyone got to provide each other feedback. It was great. I think there's benefits. I think every city needs it, and I think most cities have it, but I think some places don't too. So
we have one that's true show go up
it's getting there,
Freeman's,
which is great.
Yeah,
I think
on Wednesday.
everyone needs more.
We need more show up, go up.
Need more show up, go up.
All right, we're done with the rant. We got 2 segments under our belt. We still have 2 more segments.
2 more segments.
This is my most excited one that I'm curious. Matt, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
Let's get a list. Let's go. He's stalling everyone. He doesn't want to answer the question. Still going.
What's wrong with me? I don't know.
This is what I say to comics.
Yeah.
Focus on currently. Is there something that you're working on that's...
I'm trying to become a better person when it comes to commitment.
There you go.
Yeah.
Overall or romantic?
We'll say overall.
Yeah, overall, just like...
Overall, I like to be a little more committed to a lot of aspects of my life. Romantically, I understand where I fall short there. So it's not something I'm pursuing right now, because I understand that like I get into stuff and then I back out of stuff, and that's like what we were talking about earlier with kind of being shallow, like the shallow end stuff, like not diving headfirst into stuff, staying in the shallow end of things for a long time, and then that way it's easy to get out of the pool if I need to, right? Which is like I don't think it's a shitty thing to say, but it's just the way I go about stuff, and then that way it's quick and easy, and it's just better. But so commitment wise, like romantically, I'm trying to work on that. And then also like just life wise, like career wise, committing to like actually focusing on comedy, giving myself the opportunity to take time off of work and being like, if you set this stuff up and you force yourself to book a flight to Halifax and try and record an album, like committing to the fact that like no one's going to ask you to do this. So I had to commit to the fact that if I want to do comedy, I have to actually set it up. So like no one asked me to do an album. No one's like banging on my door. Like there's a couple of people I know that have had people offer to do albums for them, right? Like some people have been like, oh, we want to like recording companies or whatever come to them and be like, oh, we want to record your album or blah, blah, blah. Whereas like I know people who haven't had that and they just make it their own. And that's like the only person that's going to do that is me. And the only way to do that is by committing by doing it. So that was like a big thing for me.
I'm all about, so I think about this a lot with podcasts because there's been a number of yours included. There's been a number of podcasts that I've helped produce that have not been released.
Oh yeah, Albert and I made a podcast.
An Evening of Silliness. I still have your folder on my desktop.
That's good.
With a bunch of gold in it.
Save it.
It's all still there if you guys want it.
There's a lot of weird shit on that one.
But it's like I'm working with another set of comedians because my whole thing is my goal.
Yeah, you love to help people.
My goal is to start a comedy network. That's my dream. I want to call it the Big Cat Comedy Network in honor of Vaughn. I want it to be comedy podcasts.
No, just joking. It's just fun here.
I want it to be only comedy podcasts by comedians, comedian run, kind of like a little co-op. You know, we all cross promote each other.
The mom and pa shop of comedy podcast.
Yes. Yeah. And when I was with them, like there was all these shoulds going around. We should do this, and I just go book it. Message that person right now.
Yeah.
Like just do it right fucking now. We're here. We're talking about these things.
Yeah, it's the big thing.
Why aren't we doing these things?
It's so much better to put something in stone, and then that way, like, it locks it in for yourself. Like when I knew that I wanted to do the album recording, the only thing stopping me was me. So I was just like, okay, I just have to say this is the date I want to do, and this is when I'm doing it, and then I have to book a flight, and then I have to acknowledge that it's a real thing, and then I have to. Yeah. Then what becomes like what I should do is what I have to do now because I have a room booked. So now I have to promote a show.
And you have a flight.
Yeah. And I have a flight. So now I have to try and recoup the cost of that flight by doing a show. That's right. So you have to commit to things to make things better. And you have to give yourself a chance to really do that for you. And everyone's guilty of saying I should do this or I should do that. So I should probably quit comedy.
What?
Just joking, folks. But
have you ever legitimately wanted to quit?
No, I don't think so.
No. Yeah,
I've always loved it so much, but I think the odd time people make you feel bad for wanting to take a break. Sometimes people are like, you can't take a break.
Ding that bell. That got personal for me. But ding that bell.
I think I've also had that mindset about others too, where people are like, I want to take a break. And I'm just like, well, you can't take a break. Like, I understand, but like, you need to keep going because I genuinely feel if you're passionate about something enough that you'll just pursue, like you'll keep going with it. But then as I've gotten older and as I've gotten, I think, smarter, ideally, you realize that like, there is the saying, too much of a good thing is bad. And I think comedy can be that too, where it's like, if you get going a lot and you do a shit ton of it, like, and you don't take a break from it, eventually
you're going to burn out.
You're going to burn out. And there's some people that honestly can get away with it for sure. Like some people, but to say that every person can or should is ridiculous because that's like saying every person should just do one-liners. Like every comic is different. So how they're going to be able to come in and out of comedy is going to be different too.
Totally different. So like
you and I had this conversation about like, for myself, my comedy is a lot about experience. It's experience based. Like I usually talk about things that have happened to me or something that I've noticed. It's observational, but it's like, it goes beyond just like sitting here and being like, hey, books are weird, right?
Yeah. It's your observations about your experience.
Yeah, about my occurrences. And if I don't have time to go do things to experience, then whatever I write about is pretty fucking boring.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is just like go out and do that. So like selecting time to be like, oh, maybe I'm going to go do something else. And then that way when I experience something, I see the comedy in it, and then I'm not doing comedy, but I'm writing comedy, and I'm not.
And you're inspired.
And I'm inspired, and I'm not. And you're not. I think what happens is when you don't go to mics, people think you aren't doing comedy, but you're always doing comedy. You're always thinking about comedy. It's always in the back of your head. You're always looking at things and be like, why is that funny? Where's the funny in this? How come that made me laugh? And then you're like, okay, well, I'm doing comedy even when I'm not on stage.
Exactly.
Like if I'm on the bus, I'm doing comedy. I'm just not performing
You're not
comedy.
performing it. And sometimes you need time to do that other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's also so important to comedy. And it's just like, it really does. As someone who does hustle, hate that fucking buzzword. I'm legitimately trying to hustle less because I don't I don't have inspiration. So I'm going back to the same old shit. You know, what else can I say about the fivesome I had many, many years ago? What else can I say about OnlyFans? Like, it's so, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that about myself that I don't. So I'm really trying right now to like be present in my life. It's close to impossible though. I still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, well, everyone's, like I said, everyone's going to do it different, but
it's just like, let people take time and don't assume people have quit if they're taking some time off mics. I think I've had 2 weeks off and people are like, are you on a hiatus? And I was just like, you guys, like,
that's good though. Like, I will say this, and this is like, I think Otter can kind of also agree with me here, is like, if someone's reaching out to you and be like, hey, are you doing comedy still? They want you to do comedy still. Like if you fucking suck at comedy and you disappear, no one's going to reach out to you. Just a heads up. Like, no, I'm sorry if you're watching this podcast and you start doing comedy and you stop doing comedy and no one's messaged you. I apologize, but like, it's true. Like anytime I've seen someone who's good at comedy and shows promise and you see the passion that they have for it and then they kind of disappear, I try and make an effort and be like, hey, where are you? And then that way,
it's actually really nice to hear that sometimes.
Yeah. People want to, you almost need, like, no matter what you do, no matter what passion you have, no matter what aspect of life you apply this to, there's always going to be a moment where you need to be reassured that it's something that, like, that your passion, even though, like, you just need to be reassured that you're actually doing well at it sometimes. And
that's okay to need that. Like,
oh yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
No matter how you get it. Like in my case, sometimes I put out a passive aggressive tweet and then I get a message from someone who saw the tweet. You know,
that's how it works.
It's not the journey, it's the destination. Doesn't matter how I got here. I got the message. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Claire.
I think it's not.
She knows who she is.
I think it's not the destination; it's the journey.
Oh, I see. So I'm trying to work on this whole self-love. The idea that I did not pick self-love. I was not a hot girl that had a boyfriend. Just went, oh, I'm done with this. I'm just going to love myself now and read some books and go to Greece. Like, I was like, I
read some books and go to Greece.
I was like forced into it, kicking and screaming.
Yeah. Like,
I think I should be grandfathered into self-love. Because I put the time in.
Put the time in. Well,
10 years.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, right? So you and I both know people who've been doing comedy for 10 years and you're like, you are not very good at this still.
God, I
so
never want to be.
If you've been trying to self-love yourself for 10 years, like, it doesn't, like, it's really whether or not you're actually taking the time to focus on what it is that you need to do to help with your self-love. Because, like, if it's a if it's a passive effort to do it, then you're going to be fucking garbage at it, and you're going to be like, oh, I should just get grandfathered in for it. Like, well, did you do the exact thing you need to do? Did you work out? Did you go jump in the ocean? Did you write positive affirmations about yourself? Did you look at yourself every day in the mirror and say, you know what, I deserve this. I'm better than this. I need these things. Did you actually, like, take steps to make that happen for yourself? Or did you just do minute little changes here and there that you weren't consistent enough with? And then you're like, well, I've been doing it for so long and I haven't seen a difference. Like, you can walk every day, get your 15,000 steps a day, but, like, you're not going to turn into a fucking athlete, right?
No,
but if you're not trying to turn into an athlete, then that's fine. But if you're trying to really teach yourself self-love, then you got to walk more than 15,000 steps a day, in a sense, right? Like, that comparison. So
it's just such kind of a bullshit. It's just, I have a lot of opinions on it.
Yeah, just for sure. I can tell it's getting heated.
Materialistic side of it, that it's like, you need to go on a solo vacation. And it's mostly TikTok that is selling this idea of the
you
woman.
Also stay up late and watch a lot of TikToks, so you're like feeding
and they
yourself
feed them
garbage.
to me because they know that's me, or like that's who I want to be, or whatever.
You should read a book. Yeah, I see you have a shelf of books.
Actually, the last time you were on the podcast, you read.
Yeah, Albert and I read some of your books.
What?
We had to blow dust off them. Dustin, I assume it looked like dried cum, but we know your relationship, so I assume it was just tears.
Oh my God.
Attached, yeah.
Here we go. We were talking about attachment styles.
Yeah, there we go.
There's the book I read the first 2 pages of.
Nice. Otter, I'm going to tell you what your attachment style is. But before I do that, I want you to know that I'm going to give you guys a just quick beware of attachment stereotyping. Folks, again, this is from one of my favorite books. It is called Attached, The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love. It's by Amir Levine, MD, and Rachel S.F. Heller, MA. So that's great. It's a good read. You can find this at Costco and Chapters Indigo, also online at amazon.ca/books.
Jeez.
The introduction, of course, is The New Science of Adult Attachment, and this is Beware Attachment Stereotyping.
Can I just say, you have a very ASMR voice.
Yeah, I do.
Like legitimately, like I could fall asleep to your voice.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest compliment.
Well, a lot of people were doing that at the recording last night.
Were there people falling asleep with the Late Show?
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, I was eating a bag of dicks up there.
No, stop.
Anyways.
Tell me about attachments.
By dividing the attachment behavior along gender lines, we can fall into the common trap of equating avoidance with masculinity. Research findings, however, prove that there are many men who are far from being avoidant. They communicate freely, are loving and affectionate, do not retreat during conflict, and are consistently there for their partner, i.e. are secure. Another misinterpretation is that we associate the anxious attachment style with the femininity when in fact most women are secure, and there are plenty of men who have anxious attachment styles.
Bitch.
There's
Do you know what all the attachment styles mean?
No,
Or
I
like-
don't really believe in this. I mean, to me, this is just toilet paper with writing on it.
You should. Then demisexuals will like you if you know.
I don't really want anyone to like me, to be honest. As long as they download my comedy album when it comes out and follow me on Instagram, we're cool.
That's your love language, a follow on Instagram?
No, I might think if I had a love language, it would be probably physical touch.
Fuck's sakes, of course.
What's wrong with that? I'm a big cuddle guy. Love
Every
cuddles.
single man.
Dude, cuddle puddle.
Every single man. Physical touch.
No, it's good that you think all men are the same. That's
They literally are.
that's maybe part of your problem, but
I feel like even Scott would agree with me on this.
yeah, Scott McLean.
Would agree that a lot
Yeah,
men are. There's a baseline of similarities.
I'm gonna talk to my good friend Amir Levine and see what his thoughts are.
Speaking of comedy albums, I told Scott that he should make one.
Scott McLean.
Yeah,
sure. He's got a fuck ton of material.
Because I was like, why the fuck haven't you done one yet?
Yeah, do it.
Fucking do it. And I'm like holding him to it. I'm like, motherfucker.
Because he would lose his job.
I don't even know. Here's the
I
thing.
don't think so.
I don't even know who the mayor even is. Jim Temple, if you're listening, I love you so much.
We miss you,
damn it.
Jim. We hope
Temple's
you're well.
so fucking funny. I don't. Here's a unpopular opinion.
Wait, we haven't gotten there yet, but we can.
Well,
do you
yeah,
want to
let's
get to
do
the
it.
unpopular opinion
Let's
right now?
fucking do
Let's
it,
do
'cause
it.
I'm
We're in
about
it.
to
We're in
dump
it.
one.
He has commitment issues, guys. That's what's wrong with him.
Yeah.
Let's go. Unpopular opinion. Don't hate me for this, but it's time for unpopular opinion. I like that better than my actual music.
Yeah, you can use that. I want royalties though. Unpopular opinion. I don't think Scott McLean's material is that drastic out of it. I just don't think enough people in Halifax write that way, that there's such a contrast between the two that it just makes it seem so much more far out than it actually is. So, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I understand that I have heard Scott say some shit that I'm just like, well, I understand what you're trying to get to, but like the funny isn't there enough. Like the between the like the you know what I mean? You know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say? Like
No,
between
totally.
how the subject matter that you're getting to and how funny it is that you're trying to talk, or how funny it is when you're talking about it. It's not funny enough for you to talk about yet.
Yes.
So you don't have a punchline strong enough to carry the fact that what you're talking about is somewhat divisive, right? So the more divisive it becomes, the funnier it has to be. And if it's not that funny, then the intent of it seems weird. And then people like gear more towards like, oh, this is how you actually feel, as opposed to like, oh, you're just trying to really find a funny way of looking at this.
Yes.
And I think Scott McClain does that a lot. I think he really portrays stuff, and I think he goes into shit and really like flips it on things like. So yeah, I think he's just I think there's definitely moments where I've been like, oh my God, I would, if I ever said that, I would feel bad for the rest of my life. And then I've seen him, but then too, I've also seen him say stuff that I'm just like, oh shit, that's like well written and it's funny, and I can see how it's like divisive, but it's funny enough that people are just like, oh yeah, this is comedy.
I'm very excited.
But I can also understand why some people would be like, yeah, that might cost him his job, because I think the climate too is just like everyone's
climate. Yes.
But I also think there's another comic who we saw who was talking about like how, you know, a lot of people say you can't joke about certain things, but it's just like, oh, or you can just write better too. So I think at some point you have to ask yourself, is this worth talking about? Mm-hmm. Or should I just think about what is a better joke that I could do, and I don't have to worry about the fact that maybe this is going to cause divisiveness?
Yeah, I feel you.
I have a couple jokes that I've been trying to do, and then now, like, the more frequently I do them, I'm just like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this anymore, because it's not getting the reaction I think I need, and I don't know if I can build it up to the point where it's worth getting the discomfort
right
to the level that it is to get it to where the funny that it is.
Get to that laugh.
Yeah.
It's so hard sometimes, especially if you really believe in something. Like, it's kind of like, maybe, I don't know if this happens for guys, but if you like go out shopping and you see something you like, like whether like an article of clothing or something, and you don't buy it, but then like you go home and like days later you're still thinking about that piece of clothing. I have bits like that where like I keep going back to this thing that I want to do, and it's touchy and it's hard, and it might piss people off if they take it the wrong way. So it is one of those jokes that the funny needs to be undeniable. The funny needs to be undeniable for me to do this subject matter, because it is such a touchy subject. It's like about
Otter's got some good
body
bits that are like that. Otter's got some bits that are like, not, I wouldn't say super divisive, but stuff that like take a little bit of a hook, but like just how he carries himself and how his jokes land. He was so likable, and also his writing's good enough that like people are on board for it. But even though it does have like the roller coaster effect of like, ooh, and then they laugh, right?
Yeah.
So like he's great for that stuff, but it's also a good example of like, you can delve into that shit, but there's a lot of factors at play when you're doing it. Like if Otter's jokes were said by someone else, they wouldn't fucking work.
That's right.
They don't have the same, like, they don't have the same delivery and the same persona, the same like ability. But Otter can write like that because he has those, you know, tools at his disposal. But within that, he's also, I'm fucking certain of it, aware of those tools, and that's why he gets away with it and is able to make it funny. So like if you don't have those tools, then you have to understand, okay, do I try to build this anyways without these tools? Or do I accept the fact that I do not have the tools to do it? Either try to acquire them or go about building this a different way.
And sometimes it's truly just a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's what I say about dirty material. You can't say it unconfident, because it will not. Kathleen McGee, never forget it. She's just like, you need to go all in 1,000%. You can't show weakness with dirty material at all. You can't show insecurity. Like you have to be so confident about it.
I have a joke that's on the album, and it didn't, on both tapings, it didn't really land that well, but I've had it do well. So I really wanted to get it out because it's just like a fun little throwaway joke. But the joke is, I talk about how I just moved in with a girl, and I presented like, oh, I just moved with a girl. And then everyone's like, yeah. And then I say, but she's not my girlfriend, which means she's not attractive.
That.
But it didn't get the reaction that I wanted to. But the only way I can really get that is I have to commit to the fact that I'm like, but she's not attractive. Or like, you have to say it in a manner.
You're like, I'm just saying it it is. This is a fact of life.
But it's not. It's the joke itself is not actually true. She's an attractive lady. It's just a funny thing to be like, oh, if she was attractive, I'd be dating her. You know what I mean? So it's just funny to have that confidence of being like, oh yeah, she's unattractive. So,
and it's honesty.
But I have to say it in a certain manner, otherwise it doesn't land. And I've had it do really well. And the last 2 times I've done it, I feel like they haven't done well. And that's just because of how I've said it. And I have to like step back and think about why it is that way.
Well, I know that when I heard the joke of the first tape in, I heard what I can describe as like insecure laughs.
Yeah.
So like they did the whole. It was almost like an ooh, like, and you know,
so
one of the first things
people aren't sure if they should laugh at it because
which is
they
better
don't
than
know.
nothing.
Yeah, well, nothing's sometimes better.
Well, Travis always told me that oohs are just laughs that haven't happened yet.
Yeah, well, Travis is also successful and I'm not, so
Stop
I don't really know.
Stop.
Yeah, I think a reaction's good no matter what. I think people just aren't sure how to feel about it initially, but I've also played around with that joke a lot. And I've put it further into my set where people have had the ability to see that I do really silly, goofy, stupid stuff. And then it lands a lot better because they're like, oh, this guy's just a goofball.
There's an opinion I have about comedy.
Yeah, shoot, text.
You think that like show up, go up should be appreciated? I think character building in sets should be done more.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. Like, I think building a character, because I think that's one way that you will get to that, they'll have trust in you to laugh at that uncomfortable joke if you build your character to a point where you are likable, relatable, and they want to see this through to the end.
But ideally, your comedy gets to a point where every joke you tell requires less character building. Yeah. So I would love for me to be able to open with that joke and it immediately does well.
Yeah.
Because ideally within the first fucking 15 seconds, they're like, this guy's silly, goofy. Whatever he says is obviously going to be a joke. Let's get into it.
And is that just having a voice that is so loud and clear that it takes less time?
Maybe,
people know you.
Yeah.
Like the people, all the professional comics that are out there that come out and just say crazy stuff off the top.
That's true too.
The people who are watching them have seen them for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Like you go out there and
so it's like character building.
Yeah,
Anthony
Jeselnik comes out and says something crazy off the top.
Yeah.
But everybody's there to see Anthony Jeselnik do that. You know him and you like him. So the longer you do it and the more people know you, if you're performing to a crowd of people who are there to see you, you can say whatever you want at the beginning because they already know where you're coming from.
They know you. They bought a ticket to your show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's fucking fascinating. I'm
gonna shut my whore mouth now.
No.
That was the exact thing that needed to be said, though. That's like legit.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know if it's levels of fame or.
Yeah, I think there's like the more people are aware of you, the easier it is because they know who you are, right? Like, but when you go into a room, you have no idea, which is why I think everyone has their opinion about Scott. Is no one really gets the chance to know him before he goes on stage and tries to sell a product that not everyone's on board for initially. So if they saw Scott at home with his kids and his girlfriend and they saw that this guy's actually a fucking good dad and he's a nice guy and he has a job and he cares a lot about his fucking friends, he goes out of his way for the people in his life.
Most loyal friend that I have
Super
in my
loyal
life.
guy.
Yeah.
But on stage, he just has this character that is like a Jeselnik character. It's like a divisive thing. But Jeselnik is known as Jeselnik. So now it's just like, how can he get everyone to be like, oh yeah, that's just the fucking thing. Right?
Yep. And soon enough, people will get to know Scott more because he and I are starting a podcast.
Nice.
And hopefully people will
That's good.
Know him more as an individual once we launch this podcast, which will happen because he has me.
Yeah, you're grinding it out.
I will make it happen. He just needs to show up and talk on a mic. That's all he has to do. Everything else I will do. Scott is definitely entering a villain era though, and I'm living for it because he's actually very done with caring what people think now.
Good.
So he's been out working the material he wants to work out. He's just been doing it and not caring so much about what people think of him.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked for this new era of him. And I do want him to record.
I think everyone should, by all means, be able to do that. And I also, on the same page, think that like what we were kind of reflecting on earlier is just when you're saying stuff, think about why it is that you're saying it and as if it's worth the battle. Because you're like, what hill are you willing to die on? Should you be able to say this without repercussions or without people being like, well, I don't think like... At the end of the day, like comedy, as much as it is about us, like there's one, panel of comedy that'll be like, it's an art form and we should be able to do whatever and people should see it as that. But then at the same time, like like you are providing a service, like you are like ideally you're at the point where people are paying to see you, or people are paying to get into a show which you're on, which you're getting paid to be at. Like they might be paying to see you specifically. They didn't buy the ticket because your name's on it.
Right.
But when you do that, you have to realize that there's a part of that where it's just you providing a service.
They paid to have a nice night out.
Exactly. So
and be entertained.
Can you do that and do that? Like both
and
those
say
things.
The thing. Yeah.
And what's the easiest way to do that? And sometimes the easiest way to do that is just like look at subjects and be like, yeah, why would I even fucking attempt that right now? What's the point? Why am I going to spend 6 sets trying to bang out that bit when I could be doing 6 sets on something that I'm still passionate about, but maybe it's not as divisive, but I know it now it's going to work even better, and it's going to work across a much bigger crowd. So it's like, am I doing it because I think that like not a lot of people can talk about this right now, so it's my job to make sure that we can still talk about it? Am I going to pour every moment, every fucking waking minute into making sure that I can craft a bit that I can say on stage that is just the perfect amount of divisiveness and funny? Or am I going to go out of my way to be like, you know what, I'm going to spend my time on several bits that may not be like, oh, these edgy political, like, oh, you can say this, but you can't say that stuff, but I'm still having fun doing it. And then I also know that they're going to work. Like, where do you draw the line? Well, and personally, like my comedy style for me is different than anyone else. Like everyone's different, but like at the end of the day, I just want to have fun and be silly. That's like my goal. But if your goal is to like, I want to know where the edge is and be really able to push behind it, then fuck yeah, go for it. But like you're gonna see pushback, and then you're gonna be like, well, why the fuck aren't I getting this? And then you have to acknowledge the fact that that's exactly why the fuck you aren't getting it. And that's the road that you chose. And as shitty as it is, that's the thing that you do. Like there was, I think it's like Chappelle said it to Burr or something, like, what you're doing right now is going to skyrocket you to the top, but if you keep doing it, you'll eventually get to where you want to be. And if that's like, if you're willing to take the long road to it, then yeah, for sure, by all means do it. But like, you don't always have to do that. You don't have to compromise on the thing that you love. You just have to realize that like, maybe I'm not pouring the passion into it in the right spot, and I'm taking too much of a swing at like, oh, I need to do this, when I could still have a great time doing comedy, talking about things that maybe don't need to be, that aren't as fucking touchy, and still really enjoy myself. But for some reason, there's a moment in your life where you're just like, I feel
called to do it.
Yeah. I feel there's a climate of comedy that is still very much like, we are the ones that can talk about anything, and it should be that. And if we don't take that advantage now, then it's forever gone. It's like, yeah, if people want to try and do that, cool. But like, I've never had much of an interest in pushing those boundaries. I've really had more of an interest in like going up there and making a silly time with people.
And that's a style thing too. Because again, going back to Josh's episode, the last episode I put out, we were talking about the idea of safe comedy and maybe certain like comedy here in Halifax being too safe. Because I was talking about the idea of like, I really want to do a dark show, like be on a dark show, maybe help produce a dark show. I don't know what it is. Just the idea of having a show be branded as like, you know, if you are overly sensitive, maybe don't come.
But here I'm going to play devil's advocate on this. And I'm going to say, what is the point of the dark show, to just say dark shit? Or are you saying like, the material you're about to hear is a little dark, but I want you to know that I've poured every single fucking ounce of me into the fact that I've also tried to make it as funny as it can be.
Ideally the second, obviously, like I can't speak for every comic.
Yeah.
For me personally, there's bits that I'm not giving up on. I'm just too nervous to try them at most of the rooms here.
For sure. But if you have a bit that you're too nervous to try, you got to like go back and look at it and be like, why does this make me so nervous?
Why does it make exactly.
And then if it makes you as a comic who's telling that joke nervous, you have to realize that the audience who's about to hear it is going to be fucking tenfold, because you're not even confident with it.
And that's the thing. Like I always think about it, I'm just like, if this was a podcast, I would stand by my stance and like argue it with confidence. But as a joke, I can't seem to take that plunge. I still see the benefit of dark shows and the branding of style specific shows. I think there's value in that. Like, you know, same with like dirty shows.
Yeah.
You know, like I did a dirty show. It was like a variety kind of format, but it was dirty stand-up comedy, and it was on the poster, dirty stand-up comedy, and it was so fucking fun, and the crowd fucking loved it because they walked in going, I know exactly what I'm getting today.
Yeah.
I would be disappointed if I walked out and didn't hear about
For sure. But I think the big difference with like dirty and like dark. Is everyone is going to have their own opinion on what they think is funny, dark comedy.
Truth.
And at the end of the day, you always have to remember that like, no matter how you sell a product, you have to realize that you're gonna have to dial it back just a bit, even though you're like, we told you, like, what's the point in just going out there and saying the fucking darkest shit and just to say it, right?
Oh yeah, that's stupid. Like, yeah,
if it's, you can just call it a dark show and don't put the word comedy in it, and then that way people are like, oh, this is just stories of people having dark stories, and yeah, maybe there's a punchline or two in it, but if like you're like, this is a dark comedy show, then you realize like you have to capitalize on the fucking comedy aspect of it. Don't just be like, I fucking murdered someone and then my childhood was weird and then blah blah blah.
This isn't Oasis.
And then I farted. Like, it's gotta be fucking, it has to, like, I don't know, not to go back to like it has to be undeniably funny. That's it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It has to be undeniably funny.
But that's the thing with me. It's like, I don't want to do them until they're undeniably funny.
Yeah, which means like you just gotta put in the legwork at home. Why is this not working? Why the fuck why do I hesitate to tell this on stage?
I think that's what I have an issue with.
Yeah.
I think because I'm someone who does not do a lot of work off the stage, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
If I'm fully fucking honest.
That's fine though.
I'm very lazy off stage. I like performing and writing on the stage, so to speak, or getting ideas for jokes on the stage and then take that to the net and then it grows from there. But like that is one thing that I do not do. And I need to start doing. And I usually like having people to bounce things off of, but you know, like not like having people give me things, but just be like, what about this? Joke jams or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of comics are so fucking hesitant to be like, I don't want anyone to give me anything. I don't want this. I don't want that. It's like, at the end of the day, people are just going to hear your shit and be like, oh, you should try this. And you should never be afraid to take something that someone offers you. Just fucking be like, wow, you listened to my entire bit and that's what you got from it. And you're also a comedian. This is probably going to fucking be good.
And they can't resent you if they offered it. They offered it.
Yeah, they offered it to you. It's not like they're going to be like, like, I love when people provide me feedback, and then I love giving other people feedback. And I honestly think it's the most sincerest form of like, hey, I just watched your entire set and this is what I got out of it.
Yes.
And they're like, oh my God, you paid enough attention that you were trying to write tags for my bits. You have your own bits. You have your own fucking material to worry about. And you went out of your way to go ahead and pay attention for the last 10 minutes when you could have been thinking about your own shit or talking to someone. You went out of your way. You paid attention to it for the last 10 minutes. And not only did you pay attention, you went out of your way to be like, you know what I think would actually add to that? Then you came and told me, and I'm going to sit there and be like, no, why would I not just give that a chance to exist? And then, you know what? Fuck it. Kill it if it doesn't work. But like, at least you try it, because then it just shows like, yeah, you know what? They gave me a time of day. They watched me. They saw me do the bit, all that shit. Why not just try it? They're also a comic. They also do the exact same thing I do. Maybe it's not something I would have gotten to initially, but like, I don't know.
Otter, did you have something to say?
I just want you to ring the bell.
Oh, ring the bell. No, that was a great point.
That was incredible.
I will say, I've had times where that's backfired on me.
But the difference is like, you have to be funny.
Like some people. Who are you getting the advice from?
No. So I'm thinking specifically about the roast battles, because I adore.
Roast battles aren't even comedy.
I adore writing roast jokes. Adore it. It literally fills me with so much pride and joy helping people write roast jokes. I will never do a roast.
Yeah.
But no one loves me. I will jump off a bridge. Like, truly. Wait till I have a boyfriend and then maybe I'll do a roast battle. But like, I remember giving someone a roast joke. I'm like, I was like so confident it would be good. It did so bad. I was just like, I'm so sorry. Why did you take my joke? I'm so sorry. I thought it would be good. But anyway.
Then you roasted yourself thinking that you were funny enough to write a roast joke, basically.
No, I wrote a great roast joke about the late and great Durham Laporte. That was the joke of the night at the first.
There you go.
Roast battle.
That's good. Yeah. No, I definitely think it helped. And roasts, I think, are very different anyways. Roasts, Like if you watch like Comedy Central roast, those are all fucking written by other people anyway. It's like
I'm pretty confident in the roast jokes I write.
Yeah, but
not confident about much, but I am confident about being mean.
Yeah,
that is something I'm good at.
But that's what I mean. Like it's sweet. Here's one thing that I love roasts, but also at the same time I hate the idea that everyone gets so fucking into them. And you're like, imagine you were this passionate about your actual bits.
Material. Yeah, that's very true.
Everyone just loves the opportunity to get to like gather up and shit on someone. So like, oh my God, write this, write about how they're fucking fat, and then say that they're so fat that they can't fit in the car, but that doesn't matter because they don't have a car because they're a comedian. Joke. But like, why not just like, but like, why not just like, instead of think like, do like, oh yeah, no, roast, cool. No, I actually gotta do 5 minutes next week and I really want to make sure that's good. So I'm going to do this.
Well, I think of someone I really respect in the scene. Hopefully he's listening. Kyle Carpenter, great fucking joke writer. One of my favorite joke writers.
Yeah.
And, he also loves doing roast just for the writing challenges.
He loves doing that,
but he also works his ass off on his own material too.
He does the roast. You don't.
Oh,
so
fair.
why are you bothering writing jokes for other people? Just write your own fucking jokes.
Because I genuinely like being mean.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's kind of weird to sit behind that veil of like, oh, I couldn't take this. I have a lot of
anger.
But I can sit here behind my fucking castle wall and lob grenades at other people.
No, I'm giving them the option to take the grenade. Like, they don't have to take the grenade.
Here's a knife. It's meant to stab this person, but I'm not telling you to stab this person.
People roast me all the time.
Yeah, I know. But I just mean like
me doing a roast battle. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna get cocky here.
Getting ranty here.
I'm gonna get fucking ranty. It would be fucking unfair for me to do a roast battle. I have 248 episodes of myself on the internet that people could scroll through and find everything to make fun of. Literally, it's truly not fair.
The fact that you think people are going to do that, boom, roasted.
Oh, I have more downloads than most comedy shows.
I know, that's fine.
So, and more work ethic than most of the people in this fucking scene. So, fuck you. There we go.
We're getting heated.
But it's true, I do. I'm confident in my work ethic, and I know what I've put into this podcast, whether or not it ends at 250. I did 250 goddamn podcasts.
Yeah.
What did anyone else do?
I tried
for 6 years straight.
I tried one time. It was pretty good.
It's just not fair for me to do a roast battle.
I tried one podcast, and then me and Albert decided that it was so good that we won podcasting.
It was an amazing podcast, but you didn't fucking follow through on it, did you?
Yeah, we didn't need to because
either did Dan and Travis.
So good. It was Dan and Travis didn't follow through either. Leave it.
It just wouldn't be fair because there's more of me out there than most people in this scene, and I feel like that's not overly a fair. It's putting me at a disadvantage. Does that make sense?
I can't agree with you there.
Bryan, does it make sense?
I mean, most of the roast jokes are kind of. I get what you're saying 100%. It makes sense. However, most jokes aren't really like. People are going to watch 12 hours of your podcast to be like, what am I going to say to make Sarah feel?
But it's not just my podcast. It's my online presence.
No,
it's
for
the
sure.
content I put out.
You have like a bunch of content out there, but then you look at Mitch and then you're like, your hair's made of Mr. Noodles.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
kind
totally.
Stuff,
so,
right?
okay, all the hard work means nothing. I get it.
No. Your podcast and hard work is awesome. However, don't
get Kathleen McGee's merch that says "Don't follow your dreams" because in the end they won't mean anything.
No, I just mean that it doesn't make you more roastable because you have content.
I think it does. I stand by it, but.
And also,
I stand by it.
I'm also gonna poke the bear a bit too. If you're like, I agree. You've put a lot of hard work into your podcast. And I think it's a great thing, but I would feel bad for you if you felt that you needed to do it for the fact that you needed other people to be like, I recognize this hard work. You
no, that's not it at all.
But I feel like that's what you were just saying. People don't recognize the hard
work regardless.
But I just mean that's why you shouldn't really care if it's all out there, because if you had fun doing it, then you should be like, oh, it's all out there. And
yeah, but it's also a self-esteem thing. Why I don't want to participate.
Yeah, then that's fine. But I'm very much in the mindset of
versus doing it. Like I've witnessed roast battles where I go, this person should not do this battle. And, and I've talked to people who have done the roast battles who have said, I cried all the way home. And I go, I already cry all the way home. I don't need to do more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to do more of that. But that said,
I am someone who is genuinely a mean person sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So I can throw a zinger your way and go, this is just something I thought of. Use it if you want. I don't fucking care if you don't. But here it is.
You should roast me right now.
No, I'm not gonna roast anyone. Cause I don't know. The podcast stuff pisses me off because it's led me to significant burnout, like significant.
Yeah, for sure.
Long-term effects of burnout.
Yeah.
I'm talking memory loss. Like, it's bad. So, like, yeah, it's just, there's so much out there. It's scary. I kind of wish I could private it sometimes just because it's kind of overwhelming. And no, I don't assume people are listening. I'm going to assume they're not. Maybe they listen to like 20 minutes. So they're not here right now listening.
No, I think people listen to the podcast.
They're not right here.
I think people are listening to the podcast, but like I was specifically referring to like people in roast battles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the Halifax comedy scene, you're going to go to a roast battle with people. You're not going to have Albert sitting there or what, like it's going to be, they're going to roast you based off of what they know of you already. They're not going to be deep diving into things, right?
Right. Okay, so here's my counterpoint.
Yeah.
Maybe this is me phrasing it differently. You Matt Baker.
Yeah.
You have like a lot of you take a lot of photos. Like your web presence is not personal. Your content that you post on Instagram is not.
Yeah, but if someone said, "Hey, Matt Baker, you suck at taking photos," I'd be hurt by that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I mean. Like.
That just means no matter what content you have that's out there, you're still susceptible to pain. You're still susceptible to being picked
100%.
apart.
But,
so I think I agree. You've put a lot of hard work into your podcast, but I'm also just saying that like if someone went through your podcast and picked apart because it was personal, I still think that there's an equal chance of someone going back through my Instagram feed and be like, "Oh, I saw a photo of this and you're a fucking piece of garbage because of that." So I just think that information is still available, just in a different manner.
It's
and how you've gone about providing that information has been through podcasts, whereas how I've gone about providing like something about me has maybe been through photos.
Yeah.
And people can still go back and get a piece of information that I maybe was like, oh yeah, this was probably a little oversharing. It's not you talking about
things like a guy breaking your ribs during sex,
for sure. Right?
Or, like legitimate trauma stuff that I've talked about.
Yeah.
So like, if someone wants to access my trauma, they can.
Yeah.
I can't say that for a lot of other people.
But I would say
unless they've done the podcast.
This is the only thing. And I would like to like end the roast battle talk here after this because I just feel like it's not going in a direction that's positive. But I would hope that the people who you are getting involved in a roast battle are like, because I believe you roast the people that you love. That's like the big thing. I would if someone asked me to be a part of a roast, I will only write roast jokes for people that I actually genuinely think are funny. I actually genuinely think can take the joke, because that like I am very much like I like that person enough that I know that this joke, that I know this piece of information about them.
Yeah.
And I know the way I got that piece of information about them is by being a part of their life. And if someone went through all of your stuff to get to that point where they saw a very vulnerable aspect in you, and that's what they want to magnify and poke at, then fuck that person. They're not roasting you. They're genuinely trying to be mean. But I understand there is a risk within it. But what I'm saying is that person who's doing that is not doing it with the intention of being funny. No matter what they say, you can recognize that is not funny, because they're going back to do something that they can clearly see is causing you pain, and they're trying to fucking inflame that, as opposed to like sometimes when people roast each other, you go after the superficial things, the stuff on the surface, the character, the flaws that like everyday people can see in ourselves, because that is going to translate easiest to an audience anyways.
Yeah. No, but exactly. And I mean, that's another thing about the roast battles. I'm just like, this is, I think Dan said it. He was like, these aren't roast battles. They're like roast battles for, it's for the comedians, not the audience.
Exactly. We get the most out of it because we know each other the best.
We get the most of it. And unless the jokes are superficial or they're set up in a way, I think there is an art to setting up a joke in a way that the audience gets it.
Oh yeah.
If it is,
like Carpenter's great job of that.
He's fantastic.
And you can also write roast jokes that are absolutely based off 100% falsity. But if the person looks like they could be capable of whatever you're saying, then it's funny.
Yeah, because you're going off of like, I guess like stereotypes. Or,
exactly.
Or of whatever kind of character. And that's another thing. I'm just like, anyway. I know the character I portray, and the older I get, the the further from that character I get. So
There you go.
things need to, all good things come to an end, everybody.
It's true. That's why my dog died.
Was he a good dog?
I don't know. I forgot to ask him when I hit him with my car.
No, stop! Stop!
I didn't kill my dog, folks. Just trying to lighten the mood.
You didn't have a dog?
I don't have a dog. Nope.
Did you grow up with pets?
Yeah, I had when I was younger, I had a dog named Sprocket. He was a black lab. My grandparents had a dog, a German Shepherd named Taffy, and a black lab named Bumper. And I grew up with cats, and I grew up with a bunny rabbit.
Aww.
I'm a cat guy. I love cats. And
I love cats.
Do you think
we're all cat guys here?
Yeah. Do you think a lot of women look down on the guys who like cats?
No, I think it's one of the hotter traits in a guy.
Really
Astrology and cats.
Interesting.
Because dogs are just easy little bitches.
Yeah, like
they're needy, and a cat takes patience and trust and an ability to restrain. Like, you can't just go up to a cat and go, "Oh, hello, kitty cat." Like, you can't rough up a cat right away. Like, you can a dog.
Yeah, because a dog will go out of his way to approach you, whereas a cat, you have to kind of like befriend pretty well.
Exactly. So the trait of restraint and patience and calmness, super hot in a guy. So I think...
Yeah, that's what I do. Anytime someone's attracted to me, I restrain myself from talking to them, and then they get upset that I don't talk to them. I'm like, well, I'm exercising restraint and patience over the last 4 months. Relax. I'm not ghosting you. I'm just restraining myself.
Yeah. I don't know. I love cats. Cats are the fucking
Cats
best.
are dope as shit. I was on I promoted my show via Tinder.
Oh my God.
I just went on Tinder. I posted a photo of me doing comedy, and the next photo was literally just the poster for the comedy show. And my bio was like, I double dog dare you to come to the show. November 22nd, 2 shows, 7 p.m., 9:30 at Matt Baker Sucks.
Did anyone...
I don't know. I don't. After both shows, I literally went to the back room to be like, okay, ideally everyone leaves before they say anything to me, so that way I don't really have to have any feedback. Because when you do something and you know that there's comics in the crowd, and you know that you have friends in the audience, you're always going to get like, you hope it's not fake feedback, and majority of the time it's not fake feedback, but like you're always worried about like someone's just gonna be like, you know what, that was really good.
Yeah.
And you don't need to hear it. Like I know how it went, and I have my own personal feelings about how I went.
Yeah.
And I don't need you to try and convince me. Otherwise, you're gonna feel how you feel. I'm gonna feel how I feel. And I don't want you to try and convince me that it wasn't what I'm thinking about. Because if I'm thinking about it in the way I'm thinking about it, then the next time I go do it, I'm gonna have a better mindset, because that's exactly how I viewed it. But if you try and if you try and convince me to see it the way that you were seeing it, then maybe the next time I do it, I won't be looking at it in the same, or not even try as hard, but I won't be thinking about it in the same manner. And then I'll be like, well, last time they said this was really great, so I don't have to worry about that, but I do have to worry about this. Whereas I'm just like, this is how I think it went, and I'm the one that has to think about it the most. So as opposed to like hanging out and having people tell me stuff, I'm just going to go sit in the back and think about how it went. And then that way I know my own feedback. My own feedback for myself is this was good. This is what bad. Like, this is what you got to work on. And then that way, at the end of the day, you don't have people giving you like like some people are just going to be straight up. You know what? This was great. This sucked. But at the end of the day, you never know. With audience members, everyone just wants to tell you that they had a good time, especially when they know that you're doing something bigger, like recording an album. I feel like people want to go and be like, no, that was really good. Right. So for me, I left. Like I didn't leave, but like
after which one?
Both. Yeah.
Well, I know, and I think that there is an art to approaching colleagues after shows.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's an energy you have to suss out, and I knew right away your energy was a smidge off.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, I wanted to get off the stage. Yeah. I wanted to retreat.
I went up and hugged you, and you're like, I gotta go get batteries. Yeah, I was like, Matt needs to get out of here.
Yeah, I needed to go get. I got in a Red Bull, and I came back and I opened the Red Bull, and I was like, oh yeah, there's still a fucking hour before the next show.
I have a Red Bull for you, by the way. I got you a shirt for you.
Oh, good, thank you.
No, but like to take home or whatever for tomorrow.
Yeah,
like whenever you need it.
That was That was the first Red Bull I had in like 2 months.
Oh really?
Yeah, I've been trying to stay off that stuff.
Yeah,
I was on an all water kick until I got out here, and then Bryan Otter and I were going up to fucking St. John, and we were at Tim Hortons, and he's like, "Did you want anything?" And I was like, "Ah, fuck, that fucking peppermint hot chocolate looks pretty good, candy cane hot chocolate." So then I got one of those, and that was the first beverage I had that wasn't water in like 50 days or something.
Good for you, though.
Oh, thanks.
And not gonna lie, it smelled incredible.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's Christmas in a cup from Mr. Robot. I mean,
great.
I guess that was the Starbucks drink, but like any minty coffee drink is Christmas. And
yeah, it was great. It was super delicious.
you were talking. You said, well, actually, I heard something today about diet and how diet is directly, like almost. I wouldn't say directly. I'm not a scientist. Don't quote me on this, but it's very tied to mental health. Like, it was this guy talking about how all his mental health struggles, and he did the Atkins diet for like an extended period of time, and things just got way better for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck. Just like what we put in our bodies.
Oh, it's huge, dude.
Impacts us so much. And I'm so bad of like eating bad. Like it's just, ugh.
Eating bad is so easy to do.
It's so easy to do. It's so convenient.
And then you blame everything else because you're like, what? I fucking had 3 meals today. Why would I feel like garbage? And you're like, oh, were they all pizza? And you're like, yeah, but
Was
pizza.
one McDonald's?
Yeah, exactly. Like, did I have 2 fucking giant coffees with dairy in them and lots of sugar? Did I have a fucking greasy sandwich that was like mostly just fried chicken and a piece of mayonnaise lettuce? And then did I go home and then order pizza or like even fast food Chinese, like shit like that? Like, you don't even think about what you're putting into your body initially because you're just like, oh, I know it should be important to eat 3 meals a day.
Or like, eat something versus nothing.
Yeah, or eat something versus nothing. But if I'm getting that into me, then I'm doing better than what I wouldn't. But then you're like, well, not really. You still need to kind of be aware of what you're putting into your fucking body.
It's scary. And there's some things like McDonald's. I feel like I'm immune to McDonald's because it does not make me feel shitty. And that's a scary thing.
Oh, McDonald's makes me feel great.
I know, same.
Like, I love it.
Same. I'm just like, I always feel better. And I'm like, that actually is not a good thing because now I'm going to eat there a lot.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it would give me a stomach ache.
Oh,
to scare me a bit.
If we want to talk about what's wrong with me, I can go back to I love buying things to make myself feel better.
Oh, like things, objects?
Yeah.
Like
if
what?
I'm like nervous about something or I'm like, oh man, this is going to suck or I need to feel better, I'll like go spend money on like t-shirts or something like that. I'm like, oh, a new t-shirt. Yeah, feeling good. And this is new to me. This is good. Like I spent some money, hard-earned money, but I worked hard for this money. Now I have this cool t-shirt that I got and then I wear it and I'm like, why the fuck did I buy this t-shirt?
I was just going to say, do you get buyer's remorse?
Oh,
like,
immediately.
almost
Pretty much immediately. Like I just needed to spend that money because then I was like, you did this for you. You worked hard. Now look what you have. And then you're like, oh, I have a fucking stupid t-shirt.
But fair.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it
works.
doesn't. But I used to be really bad for it, and now but that's something I'm working on. But I use like I'll find myself getting in big moods where I'm just like I gotta go buy something.
I'm bad with that, with particularly clothes for shows. I feel this need to
Show clothes are huge.
constantly get new outfits. Not necessarily for open mics, but like for like fancier shows.
Yeah, well, you got like you do a lot of bigger shows too, in the sense that like when you put on your big podcast shows, and those are always awesome. And I understand like the want to like have something cool and
gown.
fresh, and because I think it's a very much part of the presentation for you, the aspect of it too. And I also, for me, if I was doing something like that, I wouldn't feel bad about buying that for that.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean,
if I was like
money is just the money part. I feel like if I had more money, I wouldn't feel as bad.
I think
but there's
if you
a
had
certain
more money,
level there's a certain level I hit where I either feel guilty or I don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's I hate saying this. I feel like it's $50. Anything above 50, I kind of feel shitty. So,
oh, really?
Like that's how cheap I am.
Oh.
But like if it's something above $50,
yeah.
I think I go home and I kind of sweat a bit.
It all depends on what like. If I was to ever, like usually I used to always buy t-shirts when I was getting paid for a show. So if I knew I was making money that night, I'd go buy a t-shirt because I'd be like, oh, this is a brand new t-shirt. It's got no fucking bomb stink on it or anything like that. It's got no
stink from a comedy.
Yeah. Like if you wore a piece of clothing and you didn't do well and it's got like a bomb stink, right?
Do
like
you believe in that?
Oh yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
Brian, do you?
Yeah.
What?
For sure. That's the thing, dude. Like, well, yeah.
If I bomb in an outfit, I'll never wear it again.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, I wear it, just not when I'm doing comedy.
Yeah,
Really?
or you wear it into a mic in hopes that like you can get the stink off of it.
I don't know if I have one like that because I've got a new outfit every time.
Well, And I don't want you to have that because I don't want you to feel like you need that too. Because sometimes like you don't realize you're like, oh shit.
Well, that's
I'm
my
running
issue.
out of t-shirts. I've been bombing a lot lately.
I have a bag of clothes by the bathroom there that I'm trying to clean out my closet to like fucking get rid of the shit. I'm trying to treat it like Instagram stories. Like Instagram stories, I'm like, if I post one more story, I gotta delete an old one. It's just like too much fucking stories, Sarah. I'm posting a clip soon from Jordan Foisey's episode.
Oh, Foisey's so funny.
Where we were talking about how people would know if we died.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's definitely Instagram stories for me. People would see that I wasn't posting and then get worried. And he was like, yeah, you're someone who posts a lot of stories.
That's an older episode, isn't it?
It is an older one. It's one of my
I saw
favorites.
that clip at one point, or I watched the episode, so I remember hearing that conversation.
He's so fucking funny.
He's so funny.
My
What is
God. But yeah, I try to treat Instagram stories like clothes. So if I buy a new shirt, I got to get rid of an old shirt.
Yeah.
It's too much fucking clothes. But they're all tops, not bottoms.
Yeah, well, I feel like pants are such a easy thing to be like, oh no, these are different pants, and be like, okay, they're different pants, even though they're the same pants. Like, yeah, I mean, you have like a black pair, you have a brown pair, you have a fucking blue pair, you have another black pair.
Do you have more pants or shirts?
Oh, I have way more shirts. I have so many fucking t-shirts.
How much is a nice man's t-shirt these days?
I don't wear nice man's t-shirts.
But like you say, you buy yourself t-shirts. Like, is it like
I go to a skateboard
30?
shop and I wait to see if anything's on sale.
$30, $40?
No. I like you were saying, if you spend over $50, if I spend over $30 on a t-shirt, I feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but that's pricey. Like because I see t-shirts at Spencer's all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're just standard price is $30. I'm like, they're never on sale. I don't know.
No, there's like a basic across the board t-shirt price, $29.99 kind of thing, and those are the exact kind of like graphic tee base thing.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to get into more thrifting.
Ooh,
and that way, like, because if you go to a store that's all new clothes, you know you're gonna find something that you want to buy.
Absolutely.
But if you go to a thrift shop, the chances of you finding something you actually like are pretty slim. And then that way, when you do, A, you're going to be like, fuck, this is pretty cool. And B, it's going to be a fraction of what you would have paid for it new anyways.
And you wouldn't feel bad. You're not going to feel bad. So then you don't
feel bad because you're doing something better for the environment. You found what you genuinely think is like a cool fucking thing. Because it feels weird buying a t-shirt and then seeing the same exact t-shirt 6 times underneath it for different sizes. And be like, well, this isn't that unique.
It's not. Oh, yeah. And then the feeling of seeing someone in the same space as you with your same shirt.
Yeah.
That's always very.
Yeah. Brian and I should buy more outfits together. People have been, we had a couple people at Punchlines tell us that we look like brothers.
Yeah, it was wild.
I could see that. I could maybe see that a little bit.
We just both have beards and tattoos though.
Yeah. I know that's fair.
One of us gets laid a lot more than the other, but.
You want to answer who?
Yeah, you want to do the assumption section? Choose which one. Choose which one of us you think gets laid.
Do the order of right now. Actually,
do the order.
Actually, we would need a third party, a fourth party person to do the order of who they think got laid the most to the least.
Oh, I don't know.
Definitely, I'm the least. For sure, for shizzles.
Are we throwing at actual numbers?
No, fuck no.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know Brian's number.
Yeah. Otter and I had this conversation.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's pretty funny.
That doesn't exist for me anymore, and I don't think it ever will again.
The glory days.
I feel like it's done.
Did you have a glory days? You think?
I'm out.
But you feel like you had a period that was that?
No.
Okay, so then you haven't.
There's never been a time in my life where I've gone, I'm getting laid the right amount.
Wow.
As a woman, like you grow up thinking, I'm going to get laid a lot because I'm a chick and I can whatever. But then I didn't. So end of story.
You've also been working like 90-hour weeks for the last 12 years. Yeah.
You've been hustling harder on the podcast than you have searching for dick, which is good.
Yeah,
you should start a sex podcast.
Like, imagine how much sex you would be having if you think of how long it takes you to make the average podcast. The fact that you set up before you do probably a 2-hour recording, and then on top of that, there's all the editing after. And all
this is why there's resentment in my heart.
And then if you put that effort into just getting laid every day, you'd be a fucking dude. Your numbers would be off the charts.
See, the thing is, some women don't have to put in effort.
Yeah. And
some women literally, it's like I'm I'm medium hot. Like like I would say like
You're Nashville hot.
like 10s.
Nashville hot chicken
Like
sandwich.
I'm what do guys call like picking up? Like an easy slay, or is it just easy lay?
I don't know. You're asking,
Easy kill?
I think you're asking the wrong dude.
Is it easy kill?
I hope not. I don't fucking know.
I'm a 10 for a 10. I'm like an easy yes. Like a 10 could look at me and go, I can for sure get her, no problem. But like I'm also the level of hot that like 3s still think they have a chance.
Whoa.
But that's just like confidence though too.
No, there's definitely women that 3s go, I can't even try.
I don't know, man. I hit on everyone. I'm a 3.
Yeah.
You're not a 3
I'm fucking around.
Do you think men overshoot more or women?
in terms of like taking risks.
Like you were saying, like 10s and 3s and stuff. Do you think that it's more likely a guy is going to go for someone like what you would consider out of their range, or do you think that's a more woman move?
No, that's a guy move.
A guy move.
Girls undershoot.
Undershoot.
Because women.
Because
I guess if we're
women
talking about
really
physical.
Yeah.
Physical attractiveness.
I think that women aren't as the physicality of it
doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
And
as big a factor.
that is a hill I will die on.
Yeah.
As someone who's been single for 10 years and has also observed couples of like friends of mine or people I've seen out, it's very often that you'll see a like very hot girl with a lesser attractive guy.
Yeah, this city's an anomaly though. Like the fact, like Halifax is just hot girls with weird looking dudes.
It
That's
is.
what this city is. It's not like this anywhere else. Like,
It is.
Go take a vacation to any other city. It's not like this.
Yeah. Like
Halifax is a weird anomaly.
Kelowna has a lot of beautiful women, and I tell you what, they are not into weird people.
Yeah, in other cities, if girls are hot enough and there aren't hot dudes, they'll just fuck each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Some of those, as opposed to dropping numbers, they just swap teams.
Exactly.
But like, why is that? And
I don't
also,
know, the ocean breeze.
why? Also, okay, this is the end of the episode. I don't care. These weird looking dudes also kind of have extremely high standards because I've hit on them and they've said no to me.
That's weird.
So what the fuck? Listen, y'all.
Do you think it's extremely high standards or just different standards? I just mean like
probably different. Probably different.
Because if you were like explain your most beautiful man, and then someone else that explain your most beautiful women. Now everyone's gonna decide what a difference is, and it's not like that is the standard across the board. So what you're saying is like, shooting above standards or blah blah blah. It's like they just might not be your type, or you might not be their type.
I don't know.
And then you're just
guys
like
know
standard
me.
wise.
I don't think guys know me.
Yeah.
So okay. I'm gonna end, we're nearing the end here. I'll say the saddest thing I'll ever say.
Ready? Don't you want to save that for 250?
No, they're too goofy. Dan and Travis together, we're not gonna get serious.
Okay, I thought you said
we're not gonna be getting serious
Otter
on
and
that.
I weren't goofy enough.
No, you're goofy, but you're also sensitive.
Our episode
men.
isn't goofy enough to not be sad.
You're also like deep guys too, so I appreciate that. I'm not scared that no one's going to love me. I'm really scared no one's going to know me.
But I think
people will never believe this because of the character I portray, but I genuinely think I'm a pretty fucking good catch.
Yeah, you're dope.
But I don't think most of the men I've interacted with or have been in my sphere or like hookup buddies or whatever have known that full spectrum. So my fear is not about actually finding love. It's literally about connection. And like, if a guy knew me and went, "You're awesome, but this just isn't going to work out," I would still be like, "Okay, but at least you knew me."
But do you know what
I mean?
Do you not define love as knowing someone? Like, I don't see love occurring unless you know an individual.
Oh yeah. You need to know someone to love them.
Yeah.
But I also think.
But you're saying you're not.
The knowing, we don't put enough on the knowing. Because otherwise life's really fucking lonely when people don't know you. And that surpasses romance. That could
For
go in.
sure.
That's really connection of all kinds, friendship, family.
Yeah.
my thing is I truly don't feel like people know me, which is wild.
Or you feel like there's a very small amount of people that actually know you? Or do you feel like there's absolutely zero people that you hang out with that know you?
I mean, I don't know if it's zero, but it's low.
Yeah, but
and I think there's also you might find someone who gets you, but like then they're not consistent in your life. So then you don't have that safety feeling all the time, and then it's still lonely.
Yeah. And
then like in my case, you find someone who does know you, and then they ghost you, and one day they're no longer available for you to talk to. Out of nowhere with
talking about Vaughn dying again?
That motherfucker. Even his ashes got stolen. I can't even check in on him.
I saw that. That was so fucking crazy.
You know? That should have been the ultimate closure, but it wasn't. But yeah, this is just what I mean. Like that's a strange feeling to be like, okay, I did find someone who knew me, and I don't even know if he's alive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's alive.
But this is
we have him on the phone, folks. Calling in from Rochester. Derek, how are you? Imagine I actually knew the name.
That Toronto. Anyway.
How often are you putting yourself out there to get people to know you?
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
No, genuine question. How often do you go out and meet people that you don't know and be like, this is who I am?
It's just, I just haven't had time, right?
Oh.
You know, like it's not really about, can I be open? Jesus Christ, I could cut this. I could just take this heart and go, here you go. Like I'm very open. I'll talk about anything.
No, 100%. But you said earlier that like you don't have anybody, or you haven't found people. Like you're a good catch, and we know you and we love you. We think you're incredible, and I agree with you that you're a good catch. And you said if somebody were to get to know me, they would understand that I'm a good catch.
Yes.
But you're only interacting with the people who are in your immediate vicinity right now. And you're not giving yourself to strangers or people who don't know you, who would have the opportunity to like you for who you are. So if you're not showing yourself and who you actually are to people who don't know you, how are you to expect them to like you for who you are?
Totally. It involves effort on my end.
It's like a catch-22.
It does involve effort on my end. But I also do think that like friends, like I love stories of friends who end up falling in love. Like I produce a love podcast at work. So my job is to find good love stories. And like there's so many of couples that are like they were just friends and then like all of a sudden realize that there was something more there. And
but then they're fucking each other's bosses and shit. Like that's not like it's not real love exists.
You're right though, Brian. Like and you said that on your episode too. Like I have to like get out and meet new people and shit. Yeah. And make the effort, but then we get into like, you know, why don't we do that? Depression, workaholism, no time, doing comedy, doing 1,000 side hustles. It's just gonna be life is hell.
Wait till your cat dies. It'll free up way more time to meet strangers.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it. I will be inconsolable when that happens.
Yeah, why would you put that into the universe?
It's because I'm actually just going to take her home.
Matt's all about putting stuff into the universe.
No, I think it's just a funny fucking thing to say.
Yeah. It's a white woman bullshit thing to say.
Well, I don't.
Universe.
I would argue that it's not a white woman bullshit thing to say because I believe that there are cultures that believe that there is a power within the universe.
Yeah, that's fair.
That exists, and I think it goes beyond just like white people. But I think it's just whether or not you believe in those practices and policies and kind of views and opinions of that stuff. But like, for me to be like, oh, I go in the ocean and I genuinely think it makes a difference. That like for someone else, someone could be like, oh, that's like a white guy bullshit thing to say, right? Fair so yeah.
Do you believe in like the manifestations, positive thinking, and like?
I can't say I do, but I also have never made an effort to think positively. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I believe in negative manifestations. Like I'm like, my album's gonna go poorly, and then it went poorly, and I was like, yeah, I manifested that.
Yeah, there's never been a time that I've looked myself in the mirror and gone, you look like a piece of shit, when I've looked great.
Yeah, but that like, but that's like, but on the flip side of that almost makes it seem like, but the negative manifestations are possible, then that means the opposite's got to be real.
Yeah.
Like if I say enough negative shit's going to happen. Like if I talk poorly about myself, I'm going to lose the confidence in myself, and then I'm going to continue to talk poorly about myself.
But this is why I'm coming out saying I'm a catch, because I am.
There you go. Then that's good. And you're taking a step towards the talking positive thing, which is that self-love thing that you were talking about, right?
My thing, I got to get rid of the resentment and the anger.
Yeah.
I got to get rid of those, and then I'll just have the confidence.
But yeah, like it's just like weight loss, man. It's unhealthy to drop everything at once. You just gotta kind of like fucking make your way, and you gotta realize that like you're gonna fluctuate. It's always gonna fluctuate, and as long as you like see the better fluctuation, like your ups are bigger than your downs, and you're in a better spot, right? But like, that's everyone always like if you climb, like Mount Everest is not a fucking straight up slope. It's literally like several valleys and peaks and ridges and shit like that.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, you have to remember that like sometimes going down is like on the journey to going up, which is like weird to think about. But when you're when you're going down, you're also like, I'm going down because I'm happy to be getting ready to climb another thing. So you have to kind of
a great metaphor.
Realize that like it's part of the journey to just be like, there's some wins and some losses, but at the end of the day, the only way I'm gonna get further is if I understand that those reflect each other as opposed to battle each other.
That's great. And you know what? That's why I tell people to wallow sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, so when people are sad,
I
think the knee-jerk reaction is to go to like, how can I make you feel better?
Yeah.
But I just go,
embrace it for a bit.
Yeah, like I had a friend whose dad died.
Yeah, embrace it in a healthy way, obviously, but
in a healthy way. I had a friend whose dad died, and rather than doing the standard, I guess like maybe the standard things you would say to someone, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
I bet you he was a great person.
Yeah.
Look at all the great things. I was just like, doesn't it fucking suck that your dad died?
Yeah.
What a fucking shitty thing to happen.
Yeah.
And like, I just let her cry and hugged her. Like, I was just like, fucking be in this pain.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's gonna
pop up later on.
It's gonna pop up later on. And like, then once she gets that out, I don't know. I think sometimes people have to embrace the pain.
Yeah. There's an important acknowledgement to everything for sure. And then like, there's levels of it too that you need to endure initially.
Yes.
But like, yeah, for sure, wallowing in something and like acknowledging the death and rebirth of things is very important. And in the idea that death is not a one-day process, and neither is the rebirth of anything. So like when something disappears, it's not gone in that instant, and it takes a little bit for it to actually finally go. And same with when something is coming into your life, that it's not automatically there. It starts as a faint like fucking flicker, and then it turns into a flame.
Yeah.
So when that's going on, like acknowledging the fact that I'm attempting to go at this today, but by no means do I have to finish this today. I don't have to, I don't have to cry it all out right now, because there's no way you're going to do it. But taking the time to make sure that if you are feeling something, expressing it and realizing like, I'm going to feel this today, and I'm going to feel it tomorrow, but maybe I won't feel it as much tomorrow because I took enough time to feel it today.
It's presence.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's being present in yourself. And it's something that's so easy not to do.
Yeah.
It's so easy not to do that. Like, it's the easiest thing ever to just go, I'm just going to go on TikTok, mindlessly scroll.
Oh, for sure,
I'm going to distract myself.
I love TikTok. TikTok.
TikTok.
I don't have it on my actual phone now because I have two phones. One's a burner phone for selling drugs.
AKA taking stand-up videos.
Yeah. Basically.
It's stand-up phone too.
Yeah, it just records all my audio. And then that way, if I lose my actual phone, no one's going to think I'm a goddamn psychopath.
That's fair.
Dude, think about if someone found your phone as a comedian, but they didn't know you were a comedian, and they were able to get into your phone, and they just started listening to everything. Like how weird it would sound to someone who's never like who they have no history of who you are as a person, and the first thing they do is go like, I wonder what this person sounds like, and they go back to voice notes. Like 100 years from now, like 200 years from now, say someone came across your phone and had exactly that. Like how weird would it be as like a person in the future to just like pick up a phone and press play and it'd be like, hey, so dicks are weird, right? And you're like, what the fuck was going on? And like, this is June 2020. Wasn't there a goddamn global pandemic happening? And this guy's out up on stage talking about his fucking breakup recently.
Or like the notes section.
Yeah, I don't use notes. Everything I have is handwritten. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You're a handwritten guy.
Yeah, I'm all about hand
I kind of do a
jobs.
combo, but the phone I always have on me, so that's where things go immediately, and then they go to handwritten, and then they go to Google Docs, which is like the master doc.
I don't put anything into my phone, and the only thing that goes into my phone is audio recordings. Other than that, I always have a notebook on me. I was just like, I have a notebook that I carry with me into work, put it in a specific place at work, and then that way, if I'm at work and I think of something, I can go to the place that I have it, grab it, write it down, and then close it, and get back to work.
Damn.
Yeah.
Process.
It doesn't really happen too often because most of the time I'm just like mindless at work, but the odd time when it does, I'm thankful that it's there.
People make fun of me because I do number my recordings.
Yeah.
So I know how many sets I've done. Give or take probably 3 or 4.
My actual recording phone is in my backpack, but I've lost so many recordings through like swapping phones and restarting phones and resetting phones. Like I just got my one screen replaced and I just wiped the phone. So then that way, when they were repairing it, they couldn't go through it or anything like that.
Oh, fair.
Just because, again, like I don't want people going through my shit.
Weird.
So I lost recordings, but every recording I have has absolutely, like if you were to read it, one of them says cunt, one of them says fuck you Kevin or fuck you Randy or something like that. Like there's all of the names are just so irrelevant. I wish I was better at organizing that stuff.
I know, right? My notes is pretty insane. I've done 41, 42, 43, 144 sets.
Holy shit.
That's recorded.
That's great though.
So
I wish I knew how many sets I'd done.
Give or take 3 or 4 probably.
Yeah.
That are like maybe on video and not audio.
So when are you recording 250 for the podcast?
Oh, we don't know yet. Probably
do you think
before Christmas for sure.
Do you think you'll have 150 recorded sets before you do 250?
Oh, probably.
That'd be sick.
250 podcast, 150 sets. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty sick.
And I mean, yeah, I could also add up all the podcasts I do at work.
Yeah.
I'd be curious, the number. Just sounds like I'm humble bragging right now.
No, it's good. It's like it's not humble bragging because like it is an accomplishment, and I genuinely do feel that a lot of people, and like this is like an ode to you. Like here's the biggest, funniest thing is literally you invited like Albert and I to come and do a podcast. You were going to do all of the work for us. And we still were like, this is too much work. That just speaks to you as a character and the drive and like the actual commitment you have to every fucking episode that Albert and I literally came here to a full setup. You did video and everything. All we had to do was sit down, be funny. We could barely fucking do that. And then we're like, wow, this is too difficult. And you've cranked out 200, almost 250 of these.
You have 2 episodes of gold, you and Albert.
Yeah.
That's probably funnier than my 250 episodes.
No, for sure. The only reason the stuff with Albert and I is funny is because some of it's just so fucking ridiculous.
Well, there's that whole clip. I have that clip clipped.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that.
We'll
have to show Bryan that after this.
But I think that's just, it speaks to your character as a person, like what the level of like hard work and dedication you have, and why I genuinely think like you experience that burnout is because a lot of people don't recognize what goes into it.
No, they don't.
But then on top of that, because of that, there's a burnout on top of the burnout of the fact that people don't recognize to go into it. So you have the tax. You're paying the tax of doing the work, and then also the tax of the fact that people don't see what the work is. So they're like, they're always like, why don't you have time for this? And you're like, you don't fucking know what kind of time schedule I have.
And then you go, what's this for?
Yeah.
What's this for?
But if you're having fun,
and I know that there's value. Like, there's no question that there's value, and there has been value. But it can be tricky. Workaholism is a bitch.
I know you said we're getting to the end of this, and before we do, I want to say like a quick one more thing before I say that, or after I say this. But like, I think something that's cool, and I think someone's probably brought it up to you before, and I think I was talking to Michaela about it, and like, it's got to be like, you can record 250 episodes, but the fact that like, say Durham's sister goes back and listens to his episode, like you would probably record 1,000 more if you knew that was the case.
Yeah.
Like if you knew that one episode was going to mean
meant so much to a family member.
You'd record 1,000 more.
It's also horrific to think that's fucking loved ones are listening to my episodes sometimes because of the garbage that comes out of our mouths. Anyway,
but that's like, for me to go
Vaughn
back,
would appreciate that.
But like to go back to that though too, and just quickly, like the main reason I enjoy taking photos of people on stage is because that's something that I really think it's a fun passion to have. And when I'm sure Durham's sister listens to the episodes, it reminds her of just a conversation that Durham's having as if he was, exactly in this room. He's not edited. He's not fucking, he's not reserved. He's just being exactly himself, and you're exactly yourself. And so that moment feels so much more special because there's nothing curated about it.
No.
So it doesn't feel like it was made for that exact reason.
Yeah.
It just happened to be like this moment of time that was fucking.
And that's what
recorded.
podcasts are. Which is so fucking cool.
Which is why it's sweet that you do it, and it's insane that you fucking do it.
Yeah, it is.
But it's so cool that you get to do that. And I mean, Otter and I think both share that idea of we both really enjoy taking photos for people, and we both see the value in that. And I know that you see the value in that.
Oh my God, yeah.
I do think that there's a general population of people that don't realize that there's there's a benefit to having these podcasts. And when you think about all the hard fucking work that goes into it, people are like, oh yeah, but why would you do that? And then you have a moment like that where you're just like, that's why.
Exactly.
You can be bummed. You can be like, fuck, this burnout's killing me. But then there's that moment that's it was all worth that. And on some days it's going to be not feeling worth that. But then there's going to be some days where you're just like, yeah, this is everything I worked for is within this 2 hour and 15-minute episode that I did with someone. And that, and the fact that someone's listening to that, and it's literally making their entire fucking week.
Help them heal. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I would agree. That's the only reason I do these, because you're all going to die someday.
Yeah. It's true. Whether it's on stage or off stage.
There's going to be I'm trying to make that a joke somehow, and it's just a tricky thing to joke about, but it is a funny thought.
Oh yeah,
that
for
these
sure.
podcasts are little memorials that haven't happened yet.
For sure. It's fun to think in the relationship that your grandparents, for a lot of us, all we have is black and gray photos of them.
Yeah.
And then now eventually one of us will be a grandparent, and someone will our great grandkids will be watching this, and they'll be like, oh, remember that time your great grandfather was talking with that girl and that other guy about how many people they quote unquote slayed?
You just wrote the joke.
Yeah.
That's your joke now.
It's not. This goes back to the fucking thing. I listened to you talk about the entire fucking setup and premise and idea, and then I literally just gave you the one tidbit, and you're like, oh, it's all yours now. That is not how comedy fucking works. That is not how comedy fucking works.
Matt.
That is the one person letting that's like if you and Otter made a fucking PowerPoint presentation, and at the end of you spending 6 hours on the PowerPoint, I come in and I put the USB stick into the computer and save it to that, and I'm like, well, it's my fucking PowerPoint now. Just because I had a vessel to project it to the next thing doesn't mean that all the work wouldn't have existed without me.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Holy shit. Okay, we gotta end this, guys.
All right, we gotta end it. Before we end it, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, buddy.
To catch up with you.
You're one of my favorite
and
guests.
this is one of the fun. This is a fun way that we get to chat, because we don't get to chat often. So this is
the
nice
only way I
converse.
chat with friends.
Yeah,
is on this podcast.
Which is fun. It's a great way to do it, and it's a goofy way to do it, because it's you keep it within a parameter that's still silly and interesting, but also you get to have fun.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah,
not every hangout you have with a friend is intentional.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do appreciate it.
But it's a loose intention.
Yeah.
So it makes it fun.
Makes it really fun.
Way more fun.
I appreciate you, Otter. I appreciate you too.
Appreciate you. Love you. You're doing awesome.
You guys are two of my favorite
I can't
guests.
wait for episode 350. I know it's going to exist.
Jesus Christ.
It'll be me and you, dog.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting beside you on camera.
Yeah.
350?
350.
You want to claim 350?
Yeah, we're claiming 350.
That's in 2 years.
Yeah, that's good.
If I did weekly.
One of us might be a ghost by then, but you never know.
Oh my God.
Ideally, me.
Whoa. Don't you dare steal that from me.
Don't, Otter, don't you dare. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
Where can people find you, follow you?
People
You have
can
a couple
follow me.
Instagram accounts that you should plug.
I have one comedy Instagram account that I'll plug. That's it.
Stop that.
My Instagram account is @MattBakerSucks. Which is, I used to be comedian Matt Baker, and now I go by Matt Baker Sucks because I think it's funny.
It is so self-deprecating.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing with it. I love it because if I go up to someone after the show and someone's where can you find you? I'm like, oh, Matt Baker Sucks. And like, oh, that's funny. And then that's it. It's people who care about me the most are like, oh, that's kind of negative. But at the end of the day, it's just a really funny way to be like, this is how I sell it.
Both of you have great Instagram handles. Matt Baker Sucks, definitely not Otter.
Yeah.
I need a better username. I hate my username. Sarah Mackle?
Mackle.
I don't help me. I don't know what it is. Is it I want something cooler. than Sarah Mackle?
Yeah, I don't know. You could do Sarah Mackle sucks.
I could tell you one right now, but if you don't use it and then you put up the podcast, it'll be wasted forever. And I don't want to do that, but I'll tell you after the podcast.
Okay, tell me after the podcast.
Yeah,
I just know that when I was growing up, my email address, when I had a Hotmail, it was simply Sarah.
Yeah.
I like that.
But it sounds a little like after school special. I don't know. It sounds bizarre.
I think sometimes you put like a lot of thought into like too much thought into things that don't really matter as much. Like mine was just literally my first name, last name, and then the fact that I suck. So it's just like, it's stupid, it's silly, it's easy, it's light. And like the biggest thing for me is when I tell people it, it's just like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Matt Baker sucks. And it's such a fucking, to me, it's something that someone would say. And then because of that, it works.
And you want to know why these types of usernames are good versus just someone's like name or like first name, last name, is it's intriguing.
Yeah, exactly.
When you see someone who's tagged in something and you're like, and like say you enjoyed that piece of content, you're going to want to click on that username and go, who the fuck is that?
The amount of people that have tagged me in photos and then they say Matt Baker does not suck. Like, that's funny.
I did that recently.
Exactly. That's why I think it's funny, because it's just like someone's contradicting what I'm saying about myself. And then they're like, what is this guy? Why is that guy saying he sucks? And then who knows? Who knows what happens? But if there's engagement, then it's beneficial to me. And then it's not a negative thing to me, because like engagement is good for myself as a comic.
Exactly. So having unique usernames is awesome.
Yeah.
And Matt is the reason my Instagram is nonstop blowing up with notifications because of a reel that I made of Matt.
Yeah, but now Scott's is taking viral.
Now Scott's is taking,
blew mine out of the water.
And Scott messaged me. He goes, how do I make the notifications stop?
How do I mute notifications? That's definitely a Scott thing to say.
But also, that's fucked that you can't turn off like the in-app.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way you could turn off the in-app.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's something for Josh to figure out.
Yeah.
Software developer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyways, I apprate you so much. Thanks for coming on, buddy. I'm so excited for the album that we don't know the name yet. The untitled album.
I'll give it a name, but I'd love to say thank you to Richard, especially. I'm not going to say his last name on here, but Richard, thank you so much for everything. I very much appreciate it. He was so fucking great to work with. He was literally made it seem like I was like the pregnant crazy lady in the hospital, like, a baby's coming out of my vagina. He's like, hey, baby's coming out of there. That's cool. It's all right. Just breathe. It's just a baby. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so after like the first show, he's like, that was great. That was a good baby. And then he's like, now we're going to do another baby.
That's exactly what he does.
And then he's like, that was a great baby. And you know what? This time we're going to get an even better baby probably. And so then we did another show. He's like, wow, 2 good babies.
2 good babies.
And then like, who knows? Maybe he thought they both sucked. But like, he was just so fucking great to work with and so nice. And I don't really have that much of a history with him. I've just kind of seen him throughout the scene, and I know that he's worked with people, and I've wanted to get to know him better. And I wish I'd like had the opportunity to live out here and actually shake hands with him a lot more. But like, he was just so kind and welcoming, and went out of his way to do a lot for me when he didn't need to. So I can't thank him enough for that.
There's an Intoxicated episode with him.
Yeah. I've listened to, I believe, 3/4 of it, and then I was probably going somewhere. But
fascinating, smart guy.
Yeah,
so.
Insanely nice. And yeah,
shout out
so
Richard.
That was great. And then I wanted to thank everyone who came out. Like the whole Halifax scene shared it. Everyone who was on the show, like Brian and Amanda and Clifton and Sam and Albert and Chris. Obviously for performing. Like I lucked out in the whole Halifax, and Joe for hosting. Sorry, Joe, thanks so much for organizing it. But like I lucked out that the Halifax scene is like super nice
because we all love you.
Yeah, this is one thing, and this will be a good thing to end on. When I got out here, I've had pretty much every comic that I've bumped into ask me how long I'm home for.
Yeah. Oh.
So it was like a nice thing.
I thought he was. I didn't think he left because I asked him to drive me to the show. Do you remember? I was like, "Can you give me a ride?" Oh wait.
Oh yeah.
You're not here. It didn't feel like you had left.
Yeah. I have the inability to drive to anything.
Well, that's how you know you have a second home.
Yeah. It's great. I love it.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
But yeah,
we got to end it on that because that was great. That was great. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks for having me. That was a roller coaster of an app. We went everywhere.
We almost went into Scott territory. Scott and I
You guys battled
argued
it out
for an hour.
Yeah. And I don't like arguing
So-
with anybody. I wanted to make sure that it was very clear about where we both stood, and I'm on your side.
I didn't take that as arguing too, by the way.
I do. I was like,
took that as-
anytime anything seems like seemingly heated, I'm just like, I need to throw a fucking joke in here quick, boys. Get a fucking joke in there. Get a giggle. Turn this fucking train around. Otherwise, you're going to get in so deep that you won't have the closer to fix it.
But that's the hilarious part of Scott and I. We don't do that. We sit in it.
Oh, I can't.
And
Dude.
it's fucking gnarly, man.
Yeah, but I watched my parents do that growing up, and it fucked me up.
Yeah.
I feel like I've thought about putting that whole fight on Patreon, like for people to pay to see it.
I would pay to see it.
Because it's
Jake Paul
fucking
versus whoever.
wild.
What was the argument about again?
Well, we can talk about it after.
We'll talk about it after. We're going to end the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, bye now. Love you.
Bobby, thanks so much for having me. This was awesome.
You can ding the bell. You have to ding the bell.
We're doing it, baby.
It's intoxicated.
This is great.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the Intoxicated Podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast app you use and leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. You can also give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast and check out our video episodes on the Intoxicated YouTube channel. Until next week, feel hard and talk hard. Intoxicated Podcast is hosted and produced by Sarah McClellan and brought to you by the messiness of life.